So drive wasn't too bad for you. Where'd you come from?
Lake St. Louis.
Oh, you're one of them rich kids, huh?
No, I live in a one-bedroom apartment that happens to be in Lake St. Louis, where a lot of rich people live.
Oh shit! I went and assembled a bed today.
Yeah.
IKEA. It's a gig app. This app called TaskRabbit or something like that.
So like you'll show up at like an old lady's house and put furniture together for her.
Yeah, or mount TVs or
Yeah.
like construct. Like I framed it in an office one morning, one day, in a guy's basement, just stuff like that.
And you did DoorDash too, right?
Oh yeah.
How come every job you have gives you opportunities to cheat? Like, is that on purpose?
Yeah. I'm all about
just
the ROI, the return on investment of what you put in, you get out. Like I'm all about that. And like I've been working on a joke actually about the best one I've found so far is sucking dick. Like that's gonna fucking get me to retire 10 years early.
That joke has been working, dude. People love your DoorDash joke about sucking dick and not getting tipped.
Yeah.
No, the drive out here was awesome. I love driving through the country. Sometimes I drive through the country just aimlessly to kind of unwind, just kind of touring around.
Yeah.
And I took the scenic route here because I didn't want to wait through traffic on South 270 or whatever because my car is still kind of fucked up. That's why I wasn't here last week because my air conditioner wasn't working. I came to find out it was just overheating. Like it was out of coolant. And one of the fans is broken, and the mechanics didn't notice any of this shit. So I've been sweating my ass off in the car for about a month, just because I didn't look at the temperature gauge.
The actual temperature gauge on your car?
Yeah, like I noticed the other day, like it's starting sluggishly. I'm like, that's not normal. This is a Toyota. You don't do anything sluggishly.
Yeah,
something's wrong.
My wife's car is like that. I got a RAV4 for her not too long ago.
I look at the temperature gauge. It's all the way up. I'm like, what the fuck? I go out and I look at the little canister under the engine. It's bone dry. I pour like a cup of Burger King water inside of it and bring it to Walmart and get some coolant in there, and suddenly my air conditioner works again.
Yeah. No, you might even want to put a shot in it too. Get you some.
They just did. They just charged it, thinking that was my problem.
Yeah.
The mechanic didn't realize that the engine was running hot. You can't rely on me, guys. I'm a moron. I love driving cars, but I don't know how they work.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I can change my oil. I can fix a flat tire. I can take the flat tire and get it fixed, but I know how to take one off the car and put it on.
Yeah, I know how to change. I know how to put a spare tire on. I could change my oil if I really needed to, but I don't because I live in an apartment. I'd be on the parking lot on my back and with people walking around me and shit. It's just I see other people doing that.
Yeah.
Changing their own oil at the apartments. I'm just like, just go give the guys at Jiffy Lube their $45.
Yeah,
you're going to be out here for 3 hours on your back in this parking lot. It's not worth it. Yeah. You don't have a lift. You don't have anything.
The disposable oil is what gets me. It's like that's where they get me what it's worth. Because after I spend about $30 altogether for a new, or maybe 35. I get the oil, the filter, and the air filter on the inside, the interior air filter as well, and it cost me like $35, and I think it's 45. You can sometimes get a deal with a coupon for 39 or whatever.
But there's just certain shit you can't do when you live in an apartment. You can't have a garage sale or a rummage sale or anything. That's why apartments are so great to dumpster dive at. Because when people move out of an apartment, they're usually moving to another one, and they're like, fuck it, I can't bring this furniture and this TV, and they just leave it all next to the dumpster.
I grew up in an apartment complex. Actually, my mom's lived out here since I was a kid. She's been here, and she's lived in apartments. It's like the worst of the worst of Jefferson County, St. Louis County. It's so bad that both police departments patrol the area. It's that bad.
They're working together
in that motherfucker. And it's called Shangri-La. How ironic. But it's known for meth, dumpster fires, and meth lab trailers.
Dumpster fires specifically.
Dumpster fires.
There's
fire.
A dumpster arsonist in the area, and these police departments are working together to bring him to justice.
Yeah. When I was a kid and was at my mom's, for the most part, I was in Carolina, but I was out here a lot too. I even went to Fox High School for a while too. But sometimes like the waste management would just be like, fuck them, and just drive right past our shit, because we're surrounded by all these real nice houses, because it's a nice prime piece of location, because it looks down over the Merrimack, and it's right where they have the big Merrimack River, and they have this island in the middle. It's kind of like, and they do the boat races around it and shit, and you can see it. Like, my mom's building is the best, like, prime location, but they can't. It was donated. The land and the deed was donated, so I think it's no one person owns everything. Each building owner, and every building is owned by somebody different, and they're all slumlords. And it's like, it's impossible to get anything done. The road won't ever get paved. And then every year, somebody that's working for a snow company, removal company, that's fucking not doing meth that fucking night, comes down in the company truck with a plow and fucks the street up even worse, because they don't realize, like, when it's that damaged already, you can't go in there with a plow. You're just gonna fucking make it 10 times
Years
worse.
ago, I had an idea to get into government-assisted housing as a landlord. It was like a business idea. I was gonna buy some property and just put like a bunch of units on it, and it was gonna be called Section Acres.
That's a good
You know, like the number 8.
Yeah.
And we were just gonna have like concrete cubes for people to live in, with drains that in the middle of the floor that the floor tapered down to, and you know, when they get evicted, you just go in there with a power washer and fucking spray everything down, and it's ready to go again.
Power washer and some fucking sulfuric or some acid,
some muriatic acid. Yeah. Yeah, it's got like, the house has a tray on the bottom, like a bird cage, you know, and you just pull it out, you fucking throw it all into a big dumpster, and you move the next tenant in. The government pays for everything.
That was my plan before I bought this. Because being a carpenter, I used to get a shit ton of free material with the company I worked for. Built
Are you sure it was free?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. McBride throws away so much. McBride and Findler Flower, those two companies, they throw away so much shit. And I was like, fuck that shit, babe. Let's not even buy one house. I was like, let's buy 3 or 4 of them. I was like, I'll remodel one. We'll stay where we're at now. We'll get those 3 or 4 houses. I'll remodel one, rent it out, work on the next one. I was like, and we just started putting makeup on it. We're not like fucking, I'm not going in there and doing structural this.
It sounds like a plan with someone else's money. Brad, yo, babe, let's buy these houses. And I could like fix them up and shit, and you know, while you're at work,
but
and
I was
going to
use the government, like, because my dad's DAV was like for part of some disabled American veteran shit, and he would go and help veterans get off the streets, because you can get them all their benefits. And he's like, you can get hooked up with one of the Section 8 government funding house, and
it's the way to go if you want to be a slumlord, man.
Every month you're guaranteed a check. Before they get paid, you get paid. As soon as their shit hits the bank, it automatically goes to your bank.
You don't want to rent to poor people who have to pay for their rent. That's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, that has to work for money. These people, you know, the government.
You see them there at home all week long, just hanging out in the yard and shit. Like, they ain't gonna fucking have my check at the end of the month.
All right. Well, I better intro. Get this going. I'll probably throw it and mix it somehow. I've been learning mixing. So we got David O'Donnell. I called you Will O'Donnell the other night at
That
Monday.
happens all the time.
And then I call him David and you Will sometimes when I'm talking. I'm like, God damn it, the O'Donnells. Are you guys related?
No.
No?
We're just 2 men who happen to have the same uncommon
It's a common
last
name.
It's not a very common last name, and we're both in comedy in the same city at the same time.
O'Donnell? I don't know.
It's not O'Donnell. It's Odonell.
O'Donnell. Oh, well, okay, yeah, that makes it.
It's not French, but like that goes back to elementary school. People would be like David McDonald, David O'Donnell.
Don't try that dear.
They write it down as O
That's
apostrophe Donald. You know.
Yeah.
I remember I introduced you at open mic, I think 2 weeks ago, as the very stoned Brad Williford, and you got on stage and you're like, "Come on, man!
Hey,
like,
man.
dude, look, how much of this place can they see from that camera? Like, this is the weedest basement I've ever been in."
Yeah.
There's a Cheech and Chong poster signed by Cheech. There's tie-dye shit hanging from the ceiling. He's got a Papasan chair, a hanging Papasan, both types.
I got a hammock up in the watchtower.
Hammock. There's a watchtower with a hammock in it.
It's hippie. It's definitely. Like I turned my Chesterfield ass wife into a hippie. Like
It reminds me of every basement I've ever lived in. Honestly,
when you were 17 and your friend got to keep the basement and the parents didn't give a fuck about
exactly.
it. Yep,
this is exactly what that was. We called it Ewok Village because it was an unfinished basement, and we just made sections by hanging sheets and Goodwill blankets from the rafters with tacks and shit, you know?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of that.
It was freezing cold all the time. We had black lights and weird posters everywhere, just like this place.
I got the lava lamp there.
The only thing it's missing is the floor mattress.
The floor, it's...
There is one. It's just not visible from here.
And it's a really nice mattress. It's one of the first.
But it's on the floor.
Yeah, it's
of course.
It's not on the floor. It's up on the wall right now.
Why is it on the wall?
Because I haven't been. I used to have it down here because me and my wife would stay down here. We would Airbnb upstairs, and believe it or not, would fucking pay our mortgage and electric bill and still have
shit.
Yeah, every month, damn near.
So like you're down here and you hear people upstairs pitter pattering around and stuff. Fucking each other.
Usually it was usually older. We only did like 2 young people, and we were like, no more of that. Like, because we had one group of people that came at like 4 in the morning.
They want to come out here to the country and throw beers all over everything and set shit on fire is what they want to do.
But I have a dog run right out there. There's a doggy door over there too. But we got a dog run that is. So I allow them to leave dogs for like a $75 cleanup fee after them. If they don't clean up, it's another $50.
So you're like going over all the rugs with a fucking magnifying glass. Like there's got to be something that dog left in here.
No, I mean we already.
That's what landlords do. I've never gotten a deposit back from anybody ever. The landlords have kept every deposit I've ever given. I usually can't even argue. Like. I really shouldn't get that back. The carpet's fucked. I've ruined every window shade. All the drywall has dents in it. Yeah, you can keep that $300.
Yeah,
that's not even enough to cover everything that I did to.
Yeah, especially if it's like one of those ones that like they use that real cheap thin drywall. You just fucking and it's like a fucking hole.
Dude, landlords use the cheapest everything. Like everything has 17 layers of white paint on it and like dried up drips and shit. Like the tile in my kitchen has like they didn't clean up the floor good enough before they put it down, so you can hear shit crackling and like crunching underneath the cheap linoleum tile in my kitchen. You can also hear that on my laminate wood flooring everywhere. I just got used to it. It bothered me at first, but now it's like I'm walking on sand.
It's like needles and syringes just crackling under your feet. I did what was it? Shit. I did a house. Oh, I went and redid a bathroom. Not redo the bathroom. Motherfucking wall from like it was a window. It was a shower wall. You know how they're like kits. You buy them in kits and they slide right in. This guy, cheap ass motherfucker, wanted me to go in there and get regular drywall. Just regular, not like bath, like
put it in a bathroom
and put it in on the shower wall, like right over the old one that's rotting and mold and black mold. And
that has to be a landlord?
Yes, yes. It lives in Texas. You know,
there's probably 2 more layers of rotten drywall behind that one.
So I go and look at the job, and I text him. I was like, "All right, well, I went and looked at it. I'm putting together a little material list now." He's like, "Oh, what do you think about the place?" I was like, yeah, that whole bathroom needs to be redone. I was like, the whole house needs to be remodeled or just torn down.
He probably started chuckling.
He's like, oh, well, it's a tenant. That house is for tenants. So I was like, God damn.
They can live like animals. It's fine.
Yeah, and I mean, this was the hood. This was like, I carried my pistol in my tool bag the whole time I was working.
Terry, you can't put thatch on a roof
dude
anymore.
Fucking
That's
OD'd.
not legal.
Yeah, a dude OD'd while I was there. Like
visibly?
Yes, he fucking went. He walked off. He asked me for a cigarette. Gave him a cigarette. He walked off, and then he's walking back down the sidewalk, and then he just like see his walk getting slower and slower, and he And then luckily the neighbor seen him and come over and caught him right before he fucking hits the ground, walks him over to the fucking porch, sits him down and shit. And he's like, hang on, I got him. I got what he needs. I just got to re-up. Come back with Narcan. Like he re-up on Narcan and shit. I was like, God damn, man.
So at work that day, you saw someone almost die in the street. Did you still eat dinner that night?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've seen shit
before. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been around
just
drugs
checking,
my whole life. Like, I've seen meth labs blow up.
I saw a chick almost die at Golden Corral once.
OD?
No, dude. It's like she was old. It's Golden Corral. I guess she might have OD'd on whatever prescription she has, but like it was Golden Corral, dinner time in St. Peter's. And this woman collapses in line, like not in line, but like near the buffet. And it was the most American thing I've ever seen in my life. I saw people carrying plates of food and like walking around this might be dead woman back to their table with fucking rolls and macaroni and cheese and shit, stepping over the paramedics' bags. Like, I'm like, this is nothing stops.
How long
around
did
here.
she sit there and get recorded before somebody came and called the EMS?
This was a long time ago. Like, if anyone recorded it, it was on like a razor flip phone or something.
Oh, the
Like,
razors,
yeah.
the bejeweled razors.
So you have like a fucking greasy, unintelligible video of an old lady lying on the floor. That's all you would have had.
Yeah, I remember those cameras.
She eventually got back up, though.
And she finished her meal. She got her money's worth.
They brought her out front to the ambulance and checked her out, and then I believe she came back.
They're like, all right, Betty, no more salt.
Dude, I remember working at Goodwill. We had an Arby's next door and a Wendy's. And on a regular basis, there would be ambulances out front.
Oh, God.
I'm not kidding, dude. Like once or twice a month, there'd be an ambulance out front of Arby's, and I'm just like, people die while eating sandwiches now.
Arby's, hey, meat curtains are dangerous.
Arby's is so fucking terrible. I hate Arby's. I don't know how they even open a business in Missouri where we have Lion's Choice, which is
that
astronomically better.
I heard this.
Like, Arby's can't figure out what it wants to be. They have the biggest, bloated, dumbest menu. It's like, you want a tuna sandwich? We got subs. We got fucking barbecue pork sandwiches. I'm like, you can't do any of that.
Make up your mind, man.
I know. It's like we got shrimp,
Tex-Mex.
We got shrimp souffle. We got tacos now. There's pizza. You want? I'm like, no. I want you. You can make a roast beef sandwich that won't make me puke. That's all you can do.
Roast beef and
it's
the
not
cheese
even really
sauce,
roast
motherfucker.
Beef. Like their beef is some kind of emulsified beef loaf.
That they
substance
made.
It's like beef bread.
Yeah. I watched a whole documentary about them making that shit. It was nuts. It blew my mind. I was like,
Arby's doesn't want you to know what they do to that shit.
Yeah,
they really don't.
Because I do the DoorDash thing, and I do it right down there in like Manchester Valley Park area is my like area that I always stay at, and I always go to that Taco Bell right there, Doughty Ferry. Hit that one up probably 10, 20 times a night for DoorDash. These Arby's is right across the street. I don't ever see a car. It's almost like they are just like smuggling and washing their money through Arby's. I want to see the numbers. I want to see how many sandwiches they're outputting, really.
Kids listening to this about to get your first job or whatever, do not get a fucking job at Chick-fil-A or Culver's or Taco Bell or McDonald's or anywhere else that ever has a wraparound line.
No, you need to get a job at Chick-fil-A. These motherfuckers are trained. I don't know what boot camp they got these guys at, but these motherfuckers can get this line out. Like, have you seen how quick a Chick-fil-A is?
Have you seen today's kids? You're going to be working for that money.
Yeah.
You're going to be working for that money.
It's America. Like, you don't,
You get a job at Hardee's, you can sit around for 8 hours and get paid and go home, is what I'm trying to tell you. Because nobody eats at Hardee's.
Only that $5 bag lunch deal when I'm a little broke and I'm working.
Yeah, like there's places that people only go if they have a coupon, and Hardee's is one of them. Like Hardee's, like I'm always mystified when Hardee's is next to anything else and people are at Hardee's instead of the other place. I'm like, you don't have to be there.
That's true. Yeah,
you're not on a road trip and the only thing in town is Hardee's. You have choice. You didn't have to eat that slimy, awful food.
What about Long John Silver?
Dude, I I haven't eaten at Long John Silver's in like 25 years.
That is-
I don't go to fast seafood. I don't trust it.
No, I don't trust
it.
fucking
Dude,
slow feed. I won't go to seafood in Missouri
Dude,
alone.
you can fuck up a hamburger and kill me, but it's 10 times easier to fuck up shrimp and make me
Yeah.
sick. Like, you got to be smart to do shrimp properly. And, like, they're making the same money as McDonald's. They don't give a fuck.
Well, no.
I didn't give a shit about what I was doing at any of my minimum wage jobs, and I wouldn't expect anybody else to either.
It's all fucking that farm fucking tilapia. Like people don't understand. Like tilapia is not real fish. Like
It's fucking
a
farmed in a green, disgusting pool in Tennessee.
Yeah,
And they pull it out with a net.
yeah, and it's
That's
got
what you're
no
eating.
nutritional value. And they've even they've pulled like some lobbyist bullshit
It's
to
in
keep them
Morton
from looking
salt
at the
water.
carcinogens in
It's
it.
not in the ocean.
They did learn that they're great for filtering out gnarly shit in water, though, too.
Me and my buddy were talking about how we're going to eventually have to end up eating carp.
Car-
Just because we're going to fuck up the planet so bad, and it's going to be the only fish left.
That's the only fish you ever catch in any lake I've been to in Missouri. But then again, you ask a motherfucker around here, you see with some rods or something on their truck, and you're like, hey man, where's a good spot to go fish? Oh, you know, man. And it's like, what? I got a couple little spots.
They'll
but they're nothing
never
great.
never tell you
No,
where they actually
it's not.
fish.
I've even gone on like Google and like looked for all the holes and gone through woods. Like, this is not smart. Like, especially around here, everyone's got a gun.
The kids have guns.
Yeah.
The preacher has a gun.
Like I said, when you move to Missouri, if you move here from out of state, that should be given to you. Like, it should be like
Dude, on the
a
way to your
welcome
house,
card.
like at some point on the street, it's like, this is the rest of the mailboxes. Like, we ain't going any further.
Yeah, that's for real.
Yeah.
For real. Like we have one lady at the post office when she works, she'll come all the way up the driveway, give the dogs fucking treats, and we tip the fuck out of her on like Christmas and shit. We hook her up.
Now I know why you drive that tiny car, though. You got to drive 2 hours round trip to do open mics.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize what some people put in out there. Like you going to where you live out there, Lake St. Louis, so that back door is pretty
Back
easy.
door is 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
So I love that one.
What's your other one that you like to go to?
I go to the Funny Bone and I go to the Heavy Anchor.
The Heavy Anchor. I like
I
the
love
Heavy
the
Anchor.
Anchor.
Yeah, I really like
I gotta break out of that trio of Funny Bone, Backdoor, Heavy Anchor, because that's what was open first when shit started to open back up.
Yeah.
But now there's a lot of other stuff going on. I need to start going to those.
Yeah, I was doing the there for a while. It was Monday nights. I try to go to if I can get on the list early enough over at Big Daddy's, because I go over there and kind of support them. And I like Jeremy and Tommy Dangerfield and Jeremy. Especially Tommy. Tommy's a vet that knows what he's doing, and he always willing to give advice. Like, he's always like talking shit, but he's like got some advice behind his shit. Especially the young comedians. He's always like pulling a comedian aside and like trying to help him out. Like Ron Finger does that a lot too. I noticed. And he gets really mad though when he notices that people aren't listening, and they just like, yeah, I know. You know how young. Remember when we were that age? Like, yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, I know. And it's like, if you know, then stop fucking doing it, motherfucker. But yeah, like, so I always go to that one. The Heavy Anchor, I like that one, but by the time I always get on there, and it's like 20-something fucking.
Dude, the sign up starts at 8:30 at the Heavy Anchor. You need to get there an hour before that if you want to be on stage within the first 20 people.
Yeah, I'm doing I've got the Saturday night one now at right there in Fenton. So.
I stayed super late at the Anchor a few times ago, and if you just hang in there long enough, it like kind of starts going again.
You know, it takes a dive and then
Yeah.
it picks back up, and it's like, where the
Then
fuck?
like some people come from like other mics that have come to an end to like do a couple more minutes at the Anchor before they go home and go to bed or whatever,
Yeah.
and then you get to see them.
That's how this one's gonna be. The one that I've got going on at Grand Slam. The room's really nice. It's just like a back door, a little bit more spread out. It's not as tight, but it fits. So I think like 100 and something.
I love Backdoor, dude. Backdoor is such a golden room.
But it's set up just like that corner stage. It's in the corner of the bar and everything.
Back door is one of those places where if some people just show up, like audience people, you're gonna have a decent time if you've got decent material.
Yeah, especially that crowd. They're wanting to laugh. They're already laughing walking in the door.
I keep bombing at the Funny Bone.
The Funny Bone's fucking. It's a weird feel to me because I go to the fucking Word Up. I don't go to the Funny Bone just because Word Up like always putting me on every Tuesday. So fucking gnats. God damn, I'm gonna kill my wife. Sorry about all the gnats.
I don't know if it's just coincidence. It probably is. But like last 3 times I've been at the Bone, like the crowd just was not into my shit.
No, yeah, the Funny Bone, like I don't know, and it's just
like I saw other people do well.
How has the crowd been there lately? Because that's the biggest problem I've had is they just never got a crowd. Like I want to go and support because they do be putting comedians on and they're the ones to
Well,
be
I think like the 3rd time ago I was there, the crowd was so bad that Ronaldo was like shitting on them by the end of the show with his set, which was fucking hilarious. And I love when he does that.
Yeah. I remember him and who was it? God damn.
He was like this. What did he say? He's like, this looks like you guys remind me of the Derek Chauvin jury. I was like, holy fuck. This is the end of the show, everyone. It's like
him and Rod Lyles.
He was like last to go up though, so why not? They didn't laugh at any of our shit. Fuck them.
Yeah.
If like 12 people go up and the crowd doesn't laugh at any of it, I start blaming them.
Yeah, no, yes. If like
it's like that was 12 different perspectives on life, and you didn't see anything on any of them. It's like, what's wrong with you today? What happened?
Yeah, that was
what happened.
That was me last night at the comedy competition, Word Up's comedy competition. Like, I came in second place with like Jason Nelson, Tommy Dangerfield, Marquise Moore, which he won that time. Reggie. I beat all but Marquise Moore. I came in second place one week. Go there this time, then do it this month, and fucking nothing. Like last place probably. I didn't get hardly any laughs.
Dude,
So
comedy competitions are bullshit.
Well, that one's actually pretty legit the way she does it, and she does
somebody can just make sure a bunch of their friends shows up. And that's usually what happens.
No, it's not the stage. She has people come in and then she picks people she knows that doesn't come often, but she because he's been doing that mic for years.
Right.
And that crowd comes because they come for the spoken word too, and it's not like the white people hipster bar spoken word shit. Whatever.
Yeah, that's torture.
That is torture.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. We get 1 or 2 of those guys that come in there, but these are like you're getting bars.
Like I don't want to see someone do poetry about their pain when they look like they've never had their utilities turned off.
Yeah, no, these
What happened?
No, you don't want to be the guy that has to go, the white guy though, that has to go up after some of these comedians. I mean, poets that are spitting some pain, like lost somebody,
right?
Like to some racial shit, and it's like, shit. The white devils walks up afterward. It's like, motherfucker. And you just are like, they're all in
you're doing
there.
Comedy, so just open up. Just be like, I'm responsible for all of that.
Oh yeah, I do. That's another reason I like the Word Up so much because I end up being like, sometimes like there's other white comedians that come there, but usually it's just like last night I was the only white guy there.
Right.
And sometimes it works in my advantage, Sometimes it's not. Sometimes they're like that. The poets that go on and I can't say nothing because it's not like they were saying something. They have a message and their message is right, and I understand because I grew up with the Black Pop, so I get it. I heard it from him all the time.
It's gonna be hard to follow someone who just recited a poem about their dead mother, and then tell jokes immediately afterward.
Yeah, dick jokes at that.
It'd be like if somebody booked you for a funeral.
Oh yeah,
it would.
That's actually good practice, I bet.
Dude,
I'm always trying to think of a way to like really get your edge, really like I'm always trying to try something different, and like there for a while.
Start putting up flyers. Brad Williford, comedian. I do funerals. I do birthday parties. I'll do a bris.
I'll write the obituary.
Yeah, dude. Maybe you could write obituaries for people.
Dude,
it's
in today. Like anything's possible. You can make money off anything. So how long have you been doing the comedy for?
I first gave comedy a try in like 2017 or early 2018, I think. Just a handful of times.
Okay.
And then I drifted away for probably like a year or two. And then I came back and started like right before the pandemic shit on everything. I started like doing it seriously and like performing every week, like 1 or 2 times, and trying to improve and get better and maybe get booked on a showcase and something like that. And I think that's roughly still where I am, you know.
Yeah. They I started right there.
Like I'm at the open mics in a showcase from time to time level.
Yeah,
That's
me too.
where I'm at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I'm at the point to where right now I'm trying to run. I'm putting together shows just to get on the more mic time. Like the hosting thing, I hate hosting, but I'm forcing myself to do it because
I love hosting.
I'm learning that you can come host my mic some night.
I'll do it.
Like I'm learning though that I'm watching the comedians that are growing the fastest, that are like really moving through like the ranks, and they're doing a lot of hosting. They've got a show like Mary Jane. She had that little mic there through COVID down in that basement place, and that shit was nice. Like it was very small, but you get 10, 15, 20 people in there, and it was a blast, you know, a blast. Did you ever go there to a Scoreboard, it's called?
No, I've never been to that
Oh,
one.
man, yeah. It was wild. Like, you can go down there, and they're, like, smoking blunts and shit. They got food cooking over there on the fryer, and they got a pool table.
I want to go to Cusimano's.
Cusimano's
I've heard it's an
tonight.
abandoned building with
Dude,
like
it is pretty cool the way they got it.
extension cord with a light hanging from the ceiling or something.
It's pretty much, that's a great example. That's a great.
That sounds
yes.
like the sort of room that I love to do.
It's good too, and there's like no AC, so everyone's sweating balls and like.
Shit.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm a
wait.
sweaty guy.
I was thinking about hitting that one tonight, but I gotta fucking go and get weed. I just read in there a guy I went to high school with out here, 2 of them got popped with like $500,000 worth of fucking weed, which when the cops do that, measure that shit, I don't believe it. Because I remember a buddy of mine got busted.
Well, cops have probably always paid like $20 a gram their whole lives.
Yeah,
So of course
true.
they're gonna super overvalue any weed they confiscate. Dude, can you imagine if a '90s cop walked into this basement? He'd have a fucking heart attack.
Oh,
He'd just
wow,
start
yeah.
thinking about all the vacations he's gonna bring his kids on and shit. Like, there must be 40 pounds of fucking weed in here, boys. Start ripping the drywall out. It's in here somewhere.
Yeah, they'd be labeling this fucking resin in this pipe like, that's a fucking $1,000 worth right there.
That's $1,000 worth of hash oil in that bong,
Yeah.
and that bong stem over there.
Yeah, and they're like,
That's enough to kill 6 children.
well, my
ladies
boy
and
got
gentlemen.
busted growing, and I know because I watched him plant the plants and helped him grow other things, but he gets busted with like 3 plants,
Dude, I'm
and they
so
weighed
ready.
everything from the pot. Everything. That's what they weighed, and then did their math
the
on
dirt?
it. The dirt, everything.
Dude, he's not selling the dirt.
They did
Come
it
on.
all. They weighed the
Come
whole
on.
thing, and they measured him out for like 3 plants.
Right.
They were like fucking up to $100,000 street value, and it's like
Jesus
bull
Christ,
the
like he's
fuck
fucking
shit.
dealing bricks of heroin.
Yeah, that's how this was back fucking early
that's how cops looked at it
2009.
back then, man. I knew a guy who we used to buy weed from in Warrenton. He ended up getting busted with like 35 meth labs or something. I think it was like a state record.
Oh wow.
He had like 30 of them on his. I don't know what cops did. They probably every fucking old milk jug on his property.
Yeah,
was
that was
tallied as a
probably
meth lab. But he would deliver a dub sack of brickweed at any time of day, 4 o'clock in the morning for $20. We'd often find him asleep in his running car in the driveway, and be like, "Oh fuck, what's his name's here?"
Yeah, he's
I don't
finally
remember his name
tased.
anymore.
Maybe we should
I don't
just let him
remember his
sleep.
name. Like he must have gotten life in prison, like 30 fucking meth labs. Holy shit!
Yeah, the way they cracked down, and you know what? It didn't even matter. It didn't even matter because it's changed now to where the way they're getting that shit in
I'm
here
so
now.
ready for weed to be all the way legal in this state.
I'm ready
though,
for it
because
all to
I've been
be
I've been
legal.
smoking weed since I was 16, and I've never been busted.
No?
Knock on
No,
wood.
no.
Yeah.
I got busted. my my first time getting busted, I went down to the other beach. Like I went to Virginia Beach. No, I was in Virginia living there, and I was going out to the Outer Banks. It was prom. Everyone, we were like 18. I was 19. It was prom. The juniors just had their prom when I was a senior. So everyone rented cottages and had big prom party afterwards. I had a headlight, like completely missing the housing unit to the headlight and everything on my Thunderbird, but I didn't give a fuck. I threw a mag light in that bitch and duct taped it in there.
Did you sell drugs in high school?
I didn't sell drugs in high school. I didn't do drugs in high school. I played ball and shit. I was an athlete actually through high school.
Like, did you have like a short haircut back then and everything? Or did you have dreads back then?
No, I didn't have dreads then. There's me there as a kid playing baseball, but with the buzz cut. I had a buzz cut where the spiky little, just the front spikes for a little while.
I don't know, you just remind me of the guy I bought weed from in high school because he was a white guy with dreads. And I remember he did too much acid and he ended up like permanently paranoid even when he wasn't on anything.
Yeah.
He always just looked all bombed out, just with his eyes super wide open and shit. Like,
yeah, man, I
felt
always
sorry for him.
I knew a lot. That was a big reason I didn't fucks with the acid for a long time. I didn't take acid until I was about 21, 22 for my first time.
I've never done a psychedelic. All I've done is weed, and I did cocaine a few times when I was a teenager, but I didn't like that at all.
Well, I've always been the type that hates nowadays the way everything's said. I really do research a lot of the stuff I did. Like lethargic acid, you will overdose on aspirin before you overdose on just pure LSD or lethargic. Yeah. You'll trip your fucking balls
I'm anxious. Up. I'm too afraid I'm gonna have a bad trip or something. And people that do these are always just like, "You'll be fine, man. I'm like sitting next to you, bro. Like everything will be fine. I got like a teddy bear you can hold on to." It's like, I don't know. Like I think I'm good.
No,
like,
see, out here
sometimes I get too high on weed. Like I don't know if I should do this. Like,
well, you always take everything slow, but
Here we go, folks. Here it comes.
Like LSD that's my favorite one to take as far as I feel the most in control. Like I do things now to kind of a success. But I make sure it's real. I put my shit on test kit. I go and buy a test kit, make sure it's pure LSD, and that way I know nothing's gonna. Strychnine is back in the day is what they used to use. They do a couple different kinds of variations now that aren't really LSD. They're like, I forget what, like LSA or something.
What is with
crazy.
all this fake shit they sell at like head shops and like what is kratom? I don't know what that is.
Well, yeah, Spencer Tegmeyer, he was on here and that's something he really like swears by that shit. He really likes it. Yeah, there are people out there that are big into the kratom. It's
it's always being sold at the shadiest fucking place I've ever seen.
A lot of
which
recovering,
kind of gives me pause.
Yeah, opiate, like not the kids that were shooting up, but the kids that got really bad on the pills, real bad.
It'll be like kratom, glass roses, fucking chore boys. And I'm just like, God damn.
Yep.
Like,
CBD, cheap some CBD.
Cheap CBD. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that. I've never tried it. Never once have I really fucked with the kratom.
Like I don't feel that. Like I don't want to. I'd never go out of my way to do anything that I don't feel like I need to be doing.
As soon as somebody relates something to the opioids, like an opioid or an opiate, I'm like, nah, that's not my style.
Yeah, they scare me.
I've tried those. It makes me
scare
itch.
the shit out of me because have you ever like? I remember I got hydrocodone from the dentist once for wisdom tooth surgery, and it got me so fucking high. Like a special kind of high that like weed can't bring you to. Mm-hmm. And I just remember like I was like all in pain and shit. I'm like, I guess I'll pop 2 of these bad boys and go to bed. And like 20 minutes after I took them, I'm laying there in bed, and all of a sudden I'm just like, holy shit! Yeah. Everything everywhere is fucking amazing. Yeah,
it's like a big euphoria. Warm hug is what everyone's.
Euphoria. I didn't know what euphoria meant until then, but it's just like everything everywhere is awesome. It always has been. It always will be. This is beautiful.
And that wasn't addicting or anything. It's
yes, it was.
That's what pharmaceutical salesmen sold.
Holy
that shit. Yeah, we just hit record highs for deaths, overdoses on those this
Then I
year.
understood, like, this is why
Yeah.
people do heroin.
I'm
This feels really good.
I'm luckily enough to have that the effect that it makes me itch real bad, and then it makes me puke. So anytime I've ever taken them for an injury, like anytime I've fucked up my back or fallen off of a ladder or a
That's
roof
why
or
I don't
something.
drink.
Yeah.
Because alcohol gives me muscle pain and makes me feel hot.
Yeah, alcohol I just guess I've got a paper belly, man. I
Like,
just
it'll-
can't do it no more. When I was 21, 22, 23, 24, I was doing blow. That's my drug.
Like if I
that-
start drinking alcohol, like all of a sudden my shoulders start getting all sore and shit, and then it moves down to all my
Hey, baby,
arms.
come over here, rub on my back.
Well, it's just not fun. It's just like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Ugh. Like, I don't want that.
I automatically nowadays I drink a few beers at the shows or the open mic, and that's mainly just so I can tip the waiter and conversate with her because she's hot. Sometimes I mean,
usually get water,
yeah.
and I still tip them though, even though they usually give it to me for free.
And
Or if
she
they-
be
if
good.
they
I'm
put
sure
a-
she has some really good nights. That motherfucker.
If they put out the big thermos with cups for everybody, I'll tip.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just be like, thanks for the water, and I'll give the bartender a tip.
Yeah, I always I buy beer at the bar and then I go over into the thing, and when she makes it around to me, I'll get another.
All
beer.
you need to get comedians to show up is ice water.
That's it.
If any people out there that own venues want to know, like, just water with ice
Dude.
cubes in it, and they'll come. It's like our field of dreams.
The Grand Slam owner came up to me and she was like, because when she asked me how much I was going to charge her to do all these open mics at her place, and I was like, she's like, because I don't think we can have that in our budget. I was like, actually, I was just hoping we could do it. You know, it's a win-win. I was going to do it for free. We want the stage time. And she came up to me and she's like, what happens if no one signs up at all one
That's
night?
not gonna happen.
And I looked at it, was like, Joe the Animal. No, he wasn't there. Who was it? Jeremy Gannon, Octob, and Nate. And I was like, have you guys ever had an open mic that no one really signs up? I was like, it's very rare. And they're like, no.
I've never seen that happen.
Yeah. And this is a Saturday night one now at 10 o'clock. Show starts at 10:30. Like, it's a great prime spot.
I think the worst turnout for an open mic I've ever seen for comedians showing up was maybe 6 people, but never nobody.
Yeah. I just really got to get on the...
And if you only get a few people, you know, you can just be like, hey, you want to do more time? And they always love to hear that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. This one, the only problem we have with my first open mic with these guys is we did it on Sunday, and, well, there were still families in there eating at 7:30.
Oh, shit. Like with kids?
Yeah. So she moved it. She's like, let's do this. Because, I mean, everybody had a good time. These parents were like... they were bagging it on.
I've been in that situation before, and I saw another comic just go on stage and start hammering those people with filthy shit, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, no, Adam Thacker was on my list. He signed up for that mic.
It was at it was at the Babylon years ago, and it was Nathan Orton. And there was like a bunch of families in there eating dinner, and he was like the first to go up for the open mic, and he's just like, hey, what the fuck is up, everybody? You brought your kids? That's stupid. And it was fucking hilarious. It's like, that is setting the tone for the rest of the show. I'm not going to care about them either. I was super new at the time. That was like maybe like my first 10 times doing comedy there.
What was it? Shit? What? I don't remember that play. I wasn't there.
I don't think Jimmy does that anymore.
I went to when John Maddie first started like 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go to a lot of his shows when he was really horrible. And he hasn't come on my podcast yet, so he was horrible. Like, he's trash still, little bastard.
Like,
no, he's killed
just
it
like
now.
until he appears on this podcast.
Yeah,
It's
he's
just like
trash.
he's less than human.
Yeah.
It's just like-
Fuck the fact that you got a baby about to come any day. Fuck.
Oh my god.
Fuck the fact you guys got a job. We all got jobs. Dave's got a job.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Technically.
Yeah. He went, no, he's like, he like became an adult, went and got him like, went to mechanic school and shit and got him a good little job.
I hope that baby goes to the most expensive fucking college.
Yeah.
You have to pay for it.
He's that dad. His, John's, John's a good guy, but he started, and I remember I started writing, and put it down. Like I didn't really fuck around. I didn't perform at all. I just know when I started seeing him perform, I was like, I always wanted to do comedy, and I just started writing some, and then got married, got a place with her, and finally, after buying this place and being bored, I was like, I'm gonna write some jokes.
I don't even remember initially why I got into comedy. Like most comedians say something like that. Like I've always wanted to be a comedian, and I idolize this guy, so and so or whatever, and I want to be like them. But like,
my first one was Jeffrey Banderette when I was in 4th grade. I was copying because I grew up always. We had my dad collected the Def Comedy Jam DVDs, and so
I always watched stand up when it was on.
Yeah,
I always loved it.
Always entertaining. Yeah, and I remember like just mimicking what I had seen on the TV. One of the ones I had
it's
seen.
not like I was 11. Like that's what I'm gonna do someday. That's not how it worked. Like,
I remember Jeffrey Banderette saying, "You should do comedy, man." I was in like 4th grade. I was like, and I still had the thought, that's not my material.
Were you always the funny friend?
No, but when we got it was like me and that guy Antonio. He's hilarious. Like he's fucking hilarious too. But when we get all together, like because John's funny too, we were friends. All of us were it's a blast when we get us all together. But yes, I was in the family group of things, I'm the one that stands out, especially with my sister and brother-in-law. We're really close. They come out. They'll be out here on Friday. They're flying in. They come out all the time, and I get like this kind of cockiness. Like I'm on fucking fire when they're around. I just have this confidence. I don't know what it is. My sister's a good tale of where the line is and how far I can push it by her facial expressions. And I'm like, all right, if it hasn't offended her yet, then I'm going to keep going. But you don't want to offend her because she's fucking can be, when you do piss her off, watch out. That's both my mom and her. Like
that's most women.
Yeah, no, yeah. My wife, it takes a while. Like she gets quiet for the night.
Yeah, they're not like guys where like there's like this short hair trigger and they're like barking
Throw
at you
something
and
and
barking
we're
at you
like-
and shit. Like women have like a way longer fuse, and if you burn it all the way up, they're gonna get really, really mad.
Oh,
That's in my experience.
What my wife does is she gets quiet and short,
That's not good.
and then the next day, or like when I'm at work, I'll get like a 3-page text. So this is why I've been sour and quiet
Oh my
lately.
God.
And it's like boom, boom, boom.
hate
I'm
that
like
shit.
sitting there on a roof got dudes yelling, "Hey, get the sheet pull!" I'm trying to lift sheets of plywood on a fucking roof and shit. And she's like, "Why aren't you texting me back?" It's like, motherfucker. And she done said some shit because she knows just what to say because we're married and been together so long. It's like, you knew exactly what button to pitch. Hang on, motherfucker. And I'm trying to talk to text and it's not saying what I wanted to say.
Dude, my talk to
Motherfucker.
text never says what I wanted to say, especially when I'm mad.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
fucking, and you end up saying something that's so stupid looking.
Oh, especially if
The
you
person
get.
is just going to laugh
Yeah.
at you.
I've had that happen. I gotta keep myself from trying to like make a comment in the comment section on soda, which I don't try to do too much
I finally
anymore.
fucking weaned myself off of that, dude.
Sometimes
took
you see
years.
some shit that's so stupid on
I
TikTok
know,
though, and you're like,
what I did was I like unfollowed every source of anything controversial after the last election came to an end, and I'm just like, I'm done with this for a few years, and I'm focusing on myself and my own problems.
yeah,
I'm not commenting anymore. I don't want to argue with any more dipshit goateed uncles on Facebook about what bathroom someone should be able to walk into. It's so tiresome. I can't do it anymore.
I just learned on YouTube you can there's a button that you can push that says, "Don't let me see any content from this channel or channels like it." I was like, cool. Fox, CNN, MSNBC.
There you
And I was
go.
like, oh, wait a minute. That one right there is my stocks. Like, because I
That'll be
still
so
do pay
good.
attention
Yeah.
to stocks. But that one got so bad with everything. I was like, man, fuck this. I got rid of them. I was like, I have my own little thing that I pay attention to anyways.
Dude, the corporate news can go fuck itself.
Oh, dude,
like,
it's so bad.
all they do is like put these giant problems on me. I'm just some regular guy. Like all I can do is vote in my local elections up at the church and shit. What do you want me to do? Like,
What
I
if-
don't need to hear about how the turtles are on fire. I can't do anything about.
It
Like,
makes me
I guess people need to know.
Yeah.
But,
But
like, it's so burdensome, day after day after day.
And
It's
you're
like,
trying to
another
think.
forest has burned. It's like, I don't. Okay, man. Like, I just need to get to work.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I put JB Weld in my exhaust. I'm trying to fix it.
I drilled out my cat.
Yeah. But it sounds really cool. No, like politics, if sometimes I'll go through these little spurts to where because I do pay attention just because I don't like either side. So when when one side, yeah, there you go, swat them motherfuckers, because they're dead tonight. I just waiting
That's one
before
down.
Yeah.
I got plenty of energy.
But no, like I get into it and I pay attention, but I like watch like Breaking Point, I think is what it's called now. They were on the Hill. It was just this crystal ball chick, and they're like, she's kind of center left, he's center right, and they can both be like, oh yeah, they fucked up. They admit they more or less talk shit on their own
But do
sides.
they wrestle?
I wish, because Crystal's kind of fine as fuck. And
I'm so disappointed that wrestling won't bring politics into anything, because it's such a fucking obvious charged lightning rod that they could take advantage. Like, remember back when we were kids, there would always be the guy who's like, I love Iraq and I want us to lose this war, and the crowd's like, fuck you, bro. Where are those men?
Yeah.
Where are the terrorist wrestlers? Where's the evil Russian that wants to blow up the ring with the Americans in it? Like, this needs to be exploited.
Get on it, America. No.
Ivan Koloff used to come to the ring and sing the national anthem in fucking Tennessee in front of 40,000 drunk hillbillies.
And they loved it.
They hated it. They were ready to storm the ring and kill him with their bare hands.
Man, the wrestling thing. My buddy, was it you and Nick that were talking about going to watch the amateur?
We were talking about
Did y'all go do that?
No, it's like it's the end of the month or something.
Oh.
We want to go watch Harley Race's promotion in Troy, which is World League Wrestling based in Troy.
That just sounds like an
Support
entertainment.
local independent wrestling. Buy tickets and go to their show.
And those are those ones on those really like, what's that channel? Like the channel that you only poor people get.
What do you mean?
Like when you got just basic cable, you ain't even got aluminum foil to get the bunny ear thing to get the
You mean like
the WB.
What do you mean? Like, because basic cable you have to pay for.
Not even basic cable. No,
Okay,
just
broadcast
just
television.
your TV's just plugged in, and you're like, what can we get? And you get like a high school football game, and
We
then you
get
get these
plenty of
wrestlers.
free channels with the antenna. I'm not getting satellite. I'm not watching WWF Raw, and that's final.
They're like, sorry, we gotta wait for the neighbor to steal their cable again. They found out and they cut us off.
Well, cable really is a shit deal and always has been. It's more channels, you pay for them, and they still have commercials.
And satellite sucks just as bad.
Yeah, satellite has commercials too. And then when there's like too many clouds, the
yeah,
satellite's like,
dude.
I can't see the TV anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
no, dude, a bird would fly over and fart over my dish when we first moved in here.
Right.
Everything fucking dead. It's like, God damn. I would call them. And I remember flipping out one day because it was like called them 2-3 times because the internet was just fucked.
Right.
And I like had the high speed package, everything, the top of the top. And they're like, all right, well, they kept making me go to your router, do this now, go on your computer. How can I go on my computer? You just made me shut the fucking router off and everything.
Well, they're
and
just reading out of a pamphlet.
Yeah.
They don't actually know how to solve your problem.
Finally I'm getting up the
This
chain.
is
I'm
someone
like, now
who
let me
used to work at TJ Maxx, and they have a manual in front of them.
So I finally get to the point to where they're trying to give me. I was like, no, fuck that, fix it. I was like, fix it or give me my money back.
No, fuck that. Fix it.
Yeah,
That's my answer
I was
to
like,
you.
I don't have you. I was like, I don't call your bitch ass to come and help me build this house that I'm working on. Do I? Do you come into my house and do you come on my job and help me? No, because that's not your motherfucking job. Your motherfucking job is to fix my internet, bitch. And then, sorry, sir, we can't help you if you're not going to do it. I was like, I don't know how to fucking rewire and fucking solder. And they don't have me do that, but they just want me to run back and forth. I was like, the next thing I do is I'm ripping this fucking satellite off of my roof with the wires and everything, and you can come pick it up from outside of the street. was like, don't send nobody sketchy
I
because my
remember that
neighbors.
shit, dude. The problem when you steal internet like me is there's nobody to call.
When they switch the password on you, shit, I gotta fucking be nice and have them over for dinner
That's
one
not
night.
actually how I steal internet. I don't want to go too far into it because I don't want anyone to watch it and turn it off or anything. But like, yeah, I haven't paid for the internet in a long time.
I was looking into that for a little while. Like I was watching this YouTube dude that was teaching me. I was like, man, I wish I was smart enough to learn this and had the
It was
time.
actually something I figured out on my own just through trial and error.
Yeah. This guy was showing you how to do it with like a 9-volt fucking battery and a phone and something.
Now wait till your neighbor is at work. Get a credit card.
Doesn't need to be yours.
Just something rigid and thin.
Yeah, no, I wish I was always good at that. We always stole cable, like every now and again, because we lived in a apartment building for the longest time, and every now and again, everyone would have cable because one of the people that moved into the apartment that month knew how to steal cable and would climb up there one night and hook our whole building up. We'd be like, "Oh shit, we got all the shit, we got porn."
You fucking needed cable in the 90s because no one had the internet or a computer at home, and if they did, you couldn't watch TV over it.
Yeah, I think it should be a require. I think that might be a big problem today. Everything's just like, feed me, give me it now. I want it now. Streaming it now.
I remember
Hulu Premium. Don't give me commercials.
I would record shit on a VCR like up into like 2002.
Dude, I had the Ancient Aliens for fucking like until they came out with like season 28. It's
I had like
God
a tape
damn.
with a bunch of fucking like Futurama episodes on it to watch while we smoked weed and shit in Ewok Village in the basement.
Dude, somewhere they'll find
weird?
my old DVR in a pile of fucking garbage over there in one of them Asian islands that they dump all our trash at. And it is going to have so many documentaries because I would get coked up and stoned back when I was 20-something. And that was what I would get into. That's the problem with me in Speed is I get all fucking actual shit done and like want to read a book and shit like that for some reason.
Every time I find an old Xbox, like remember the old Xbox, like the big black one with the black X on top? Like
one of the only things I ever won.
Because I resell junk for a living, and they always have MP3s on them, and they are always completely symbolic of the time that console was popular. It's just Limp Bizkit, Blink 182, South Park songs being sung by Cartman and shit. I gotta wipe all that off of there so I can get rid of it.
What about the suck on my chocolate salty butt? Oh, that was
put them in your mouth and suck them and suck them. I remember all those songs. Yeah. I used to have an MP3 of Cartman singing "Come Sail Away" by Styx in full.
And then they had the what was the other one? Oh, it was Tenacious D. Mm-hmm. That was the other.
Everyone liked Tenacious D. Did you hear something?
Yeah, my wife.
Oh.
She just got.
What I was gonna say though is, isn't it weird that everyone smokes weed now?
A little bit, yeah.
That it's so accepted.
Yeah.
Because for most of my weed smoking career, it was not like that. Like I remember being in stores and being high and being worried about it. Like, do these people realize that I'm stoned on weed right now? Is one of them gonna call the police? Like I would have thoughts like that. Because it was super duper illegal. No one had a medical card. Yeah. It was not legal in any neighboring states.
I had like 13 pages from Virginia when they just legalized and dropped all charges, like priors that don't come up in the computer no more. It's 13 pages of possession charges.
For you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like,
nice.
yeah. They say I appropriated culture, but I just appropriated getting searched at every party. Anytime I get pulled over, that's like what I got. Like there isn't, you can ask. Like every time I get pulled over, that's usually
those jar-headed cops are gonna take one look at your dreadlocks.
Yeah, they're like,
assume you have drugs.
Yeah, Mr. Williford, what? I smell marijuana. I was like, I'm sure you do. Come on, now here in Missouri, but even I gotta say, I found out the law was a person in Missouri can have up to 4 ounces on them if they have their card. Mm-hmm. That 4 ounce, a quarter pound, like
That's a lot.
Like, I'm a pothead, all right? I smoke, me and my wife can easily go through an ounce each if we wanted to. If we were, like, smoking dupes. We don't. We go through a half each. So I buy an ounce or we smoke an ounce. Unless I've got a crop in, that's a little different.
I remember buying weed in the early 2000s that was so hard that it broke the teeth out of the grinder. Like a plastic grinder, it would break them.
Mm-hmm. And you get it, and it was like in a corner. It was like a box still because it was actual brick weed.
Dude, do you remember there was nothing to choose from usually? It's just like you would have a weed man or two, and you would try to get a hold of them when you were running out, and they would just be like, "Yeah, I got it."
Yeah,
and you just be like, "I'm coming."
Yeah,
and you would just come over.
You get that text, and you're just sitting at home like.
Oh, dude, I remember that.
Fuck,
shit.
dude.
Like, don't even fucking turn on the TV.
I don't even. TV's not even fucking cool right now.
I don't want to do anything until I get fucking high.
Yeah, like I don't even have I'm a medical I have the medical marijuana special agent ID. I can work in the cannabis industry. And now I do cannabis consulting is what I've like kind of gotten into. But I can't go buy it. Because I don't have that. I haven't went and bought the actual card to be able to buy it.
I have a doctor's appointment coming up, and I want to like ask him like, can you hook me up?
Yeah.
So I don't have to go to some fly-by-night mobbed up fucking operation.
No, you don't. If your doctor don't do it, just ask me. I got a fucking site you go to. They hit you up. It's all private. Then 15 minutes, you got your fucking be like, approval.
Because a doctor visit costs me like fucking $5.
Yeah, this isn't even. This whole process is gonna cost you like. To get the card, the appointment, and everything, and it's all virtual. It's like $100, and that's good for whatever.
Yeah, well, the copay for my primary guy is $5.
Yeah,
so I want to see if he can hand me one.
That's what I'm saying. If you can't, but you don't have to go to no sketch place.
Be like, don't make me go down to Skid Row and ask these people for a marijuana card.
I went off on my doctor because when they first made it legal and everything, I went there and I was like, dude, I need to get the. I'm gonna need my medical card once you get set up to be able to give me my. He's like, oh, I'm not gonna be doing that. And I was like, bitch, you've offered to prescribe me heroin, you prescribed me meth. I was like, he's like, whoa. I was like, don't even, bro. I was like, when I was in here because I fell off that roof, you wanted to give me Oxycontin, and I was like, that's heroin. It's just some molecules on a different point of the fucking base.
You sitting on that bed with the paper, and he's like talking to you, and you're just like, bro, that's heroin.
Yeah. And I was like, and I'm fucking jacked up right now because I took 2 of those goddamn 5 ounces before I fucking got off work just because I have shit to do. And you're not going to give me weed? I was like, you will lose a customer. He's like, you're a patient.
Do you have living grandparents?
Yes, I've got one. My grandma.
You ever see like the medicine that they receive from like they get the hardest core, most fucking mind blowout fucking dope you could possibly imagine from the doctor, dude.
Yeah, but my grandma, she's like, she's hardcore Christian for one. Like she carries a Bible wherever she goes. Her name's Connie.
Mine too. My grandmother is Pentecostal.
She's been through them all. I remember, but even the ones that would like speak the tongue and shit. I think they like she's from that like group. Like they don't cut their hair and they wear super long dresses all the time. Oh yeah, I know
no
that.
makeup.
Yeah. She never did that, but she's like, the Lord this, the Lord that, the dinosaurs aren't real.
I don't know why some people are so bothered by dinosaurs, man. Yeah. There's like whole museums in the South dedicated to that dinosaurs aren't real, or that they were in the Garden of Eden eating fucking apples with their big razor sharp teeth.
Yeah,
because it was before sin, and nothing was killed before.
Yeah.
Or that bitch ate that apple.
I know, all over an apple. And do you ever think about it? Do you think he's just pissed off because we continue to eat apples? We got like orchards of apple trees and shit. Fuck, you read the book. You got the story.
You've industrialized the sin. You've got machines harvesting the one fruit I told you not to eat.
You making juice sauce to the babies? You guys are like...
feeding it to the babes.
I've been, yeah. I tried that a couple times. That I tried that actual bit, and some lady came up to me. She goes, "It wasn't an apple. It was the fucking fruit of knowledge or something like that." I was like,
Bitch,
"Whatever."
in every
Bible,
single like
yeah, book and
read along Bible
yeah.
I've ever looked through, it was an apple. And she had the leaves on her nipples, and she had one on her down parts.
Yeah, and somehow it was
Or
just holding there
sometimes-
magically because she had the figs in her twat. It's the only way you get a fig
Yeah, or
leaf to
sometimes
stay
Eve's
there.
hair will cover her nipples.
Yeah, that's the ones I jerked off to when I was a
Yeah,
kid.
yeah, that's a little bit better than the other
It was in the
Dude, sometimes
the old
they-
leather-backed by.
Dude, they always made Eve like a fucking brick house in those paintings, dude. With like fucking big ass wide childbearing hips and a big chest.
Well, that's what
smooth skin. No wonder he was ready to do anything she asked him to do.
Well, back in the day, like fat, like being not like huge, but like thicker, like with the big wide hips and everything, because working out and all that and the royalty, it showed that a sign of wealth and everything.
Yeah, yeah. It
The
was
peasants
a sign of,
weren't
it was a
like,
sign of wealth if you had a plump wife.
Yeah. Oh, if plump. That's still the same way in like the Philippines. Like,
Yeah.
like my pop stayed there for like a year, and he's like, yeah, they know where the money's at, because when a fat white man is in the Philippines, they rip them off for one. They charge like just to get one of the little cart rides where they run you everywhere, which that's gotta eventually change, right? Come on, Elon, like figure it out. Like,
Dude, did you see his new robot?
was that really a robot?
Yeah, it's like a humanoid robot. You could have that pull the fucking rickshaw.
Oh yeah, that's true. But that's
Maybe
too much.
that- maybe
There
that-
was a Will Smith. There was the Fresh Prince did a movie about this. All right.
Maybe that's what localized green all-electric travel will look like, is humanoid robots pulling rickshaws around.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the Great Reset.
You know what? If you want a tourist to buy a ride, it's got to be kind of entertaining too.
Yeah,
If I'm being pulled around in a rickshaw by a robot,
and you can
that's
like
something I'll pay for.
you can
man.
straight up just like Bluetooth your music right out of the back of its head. It's got a speaker and it
Absolutely.
hooks up to
Yeah.
it.
It's like,
Yeah.
have you ever seen Total Recall, the original?
Yes.
Like, remember Johnny Cab?
Yes.
You're in a Johnny Cab. And you
Yeah,
can fucking
yeah.
spin around and be like, where to? Like, I would fucking love that.
One of my favorites was the Demolition Man with who was that?
Sly Stallone.
yeah,
the guy who didn't pay his taxes.
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Who probably still has not paid up with the IRS.
No, they threw his ass in jail.
Is he still in jail?
And I don't know if he's still in jail, but he paid with his time.
Hey Siri, is Wesley Snipes still in prison? Oh, there's no internet here out in the fucking mountains, obviously.
You know how I have the internet out here? I have an RV Wi-Fi like portable router, and I have to keep it in one spot over by that window.
Is it cellular? Is it using cell towers?
Yeah, I got it hooked up through my cell.
Back in the day, the only way to have broadband in the country was to have the down data come through a satellite, like a satellite dish, like you do
Yeah.
for television, and then all the data you send out would be over a 56K modem.
Yeah. We just went over they wanted me to do their job speech. Little bastards. But anyways, yeah. So and it actually keeps up when I don't go through, like once you go through that 50 gigs of fucking data that I got or whatever, it doesn't work at all. But yeah, once it
What do you need 50 gigs for? What are you doing?
drugs
That's a
and
lot.
YouTube.
Well, I
man.
guess
no.
when you stream shit, that will add up.
Yeah,
really
my
quick.
wife
Yeah,
watches
50 gigs. Like they don't need to do that. You understand that,
yeah,
right? That is
yeah.
completely arbitrary bullshit to fuck us out of extra money.
Yeah.
Like no one needs to be capped. In Europe, I don't think they legally can cap your internet. Like
Yeah, believe me. Like people, that was one thing. People, anytime they bring up you bring up universal health care. I mean, like, yeah, everyone, social, fucking health care for all. They're like, yeah, the taxes, and they're like, all these countries around here have. You bring up those countries, and they're like, look at the taxes. People really don't realize that we pay like, what is it like? I think it's 89 or 90 something cents of every dollar spent in America goes back to the government because you pay a sales tax. for a product. The person that supplied the product paid a tax on it. The
That's
person
why
that made that
yeah.
product taxed it or had to import
And it's
tax.
a tax on the working class.
Yeah.
That's why I vote no on every sales and gas and tax increase. I only vote yes on income tax, but they never come here because it's Missouri, so there's never income tax on the ballot.
Yeah, the
But
taxes.
Brad is smoking L&M Turkish blend.
Yeah,
so
that's
they're
like-
ripping off Camels now.
No.
That's
Yes,
what
they're
Turkish
ripping off.
blend
That's
is.
Marlboro's Camel Turkish Gold. that was Turkish Gold was my favorite, and it's not bad.
Okay.
It's
Now
like-
L&M says, I really would like to quit smoking, but I'm going to buy another pack, but I don't want it to taste too bad.
I do want
is
to
what-
quit.
is what
I was
L-
so
is what
close,
L&M
and then
say.
Chantix made me have a fucking.
I used
mental-
to smoke L&M Red 100s.
Ooh, that's a rough cigarette there, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't do that. I like the. I did my favorite cigarette. What I started on was Marlboro Mediums, and they went to what are they called now? Red Label or something like that.
I started on full flavor Cools.
Well, my first month of smoking, I bought those Marlboro Smooths. Remember those, the peppermint cigarettes?
Oh God, those were harsh as a
but-
motherfucker,
yeah,
weren't they?
yeah,
Like they
yeah.
called them smooth to trick you into buying.
Yeah, and then I got one of the guys I worked with let me bum a cigarette off of him, and it was a Marlboro Medium. I was like, oh, that is just pleasant, you know,
Isn't
it's
a
like
medium
delightful.
just like a lightly mentholed cigarette, like kind of half of
No. It's like a Marlboro Red, just a step down from a red. It's the red pack. It looks like red, but it's
I
it's
remember
like
that
got the
now.
white. It's,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually hard. A lot of people don't realize they even exist.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of Marlboro Mild in the blue pack.
The mild, they would give me a headache, split my head wide open. I hated the kids that bought the shiny, cool, the bronze pack and the blue pack.
Dude, if you handed me a menthol full flavored cigarette right now, it'd probably make me throw up.
Dude, my pops did fucking like 2 packs of Newports a day for the longest
They're
time.
extra bad for you.
Yeah.
I think they're about to ban menthol, aren't
Yeah,
they?
that's
Or
what
did
they
they
said
do it
in
already?
flavored blunts or
Like
some
we're one of
shit.
the only countries where you can still get a menthol cigarette.
Yeah, Biden.
Like
is
in Canada, they
that's
still-
racist, mate.
In Canada, they still have cigs, but it's only unflavored,
Yeah, I'm sure.
and
Like,
they're very expensive.
see, that was but down in Carolina and Virginia where I grew up because I lived right there by the state line.
Dude, a
and
pack of cigarettes in the Carolinas is still like $1.70.
no, it's like $3 or $4. Yeah, but yeah,
We
people get
supporting
busted
our
off-
state's industry is what we're doing.
One of the big fucking things you see in court all the time down there is people getting busted buying too many packs of cigarettes and going up to New York and selling them that way.
Oh yeah, that'd be
for
a
that
dope
tax
thing to
stamp.
do, yeah.
Yeah, they're making they get like $12 a pack of smokes.
Make a lot
out
of
there.
money, yeah. Dude, there's a sign on the bridge going from St. Louis into Illinois that warns you, like, don't smuggle cigarettes into Illinois. I don't know how much money you could make. Like, how much more expensive is a pack of smokes
I
in
got stopped
Illinois?
by customs going into Mexico. They stopped. They customs stopped me going into Mexico. They're like, hold on, and I was like, shit. Like, I figured I just brought a bunch of cartridges, and
Like,
for,
Mexico was afraid to let you in.
Yeah.
Like, what are you bringing in, man?
Yeah, I was there. We were there for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and I brought like 2 cartons of cigarettes with me, and because it's getting married and everything like that, and that's what they stopped me for. They're like, "Why are you bringing 2 cartons?" I was like, "I'm fucking gonna be down here for like 2 weeks, dude." I was like, and I'm getting married, and I'm gonna be at an all-exclusive resort. That's a lot of drinking, smoking, fucking, and rinse and repeat.
You know what? That's a rock solid alibi. There.
Yeah, and the dude like went through my bag a little bit. Was like, all right,
2 cartons isn't it smuggling? Really.
right. I was like, why are they stopping me over
10
there?
would be smuggling.
Yeah. Well, it was thousands of pesos. The place we stayed at was nice. Once you got into their little enclosed gate,
Well, how many pesos are in $1?
I have no clue. It's one of these fucking heads on here. Oh wait, that's our bitch. That's the Liberty dollar. That's one of those ones that are worth.
You ever have a Morgan dollar?
That's a peso, I think.
The Morgan dollar is like a gigantic silver dollar from the 1890s.
Yeah, my dad used to collect coins, and I would take them and spend them.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, it was bad. My dad, he would go down to the little convenience store, and they would give him back, and he'd give him the cash.
But like, it's such a big, heavy coin. It makes me feel like a rich man in the Old West every time I hold one. Like, take this and bring it down to the market and get me a turkey, son. It's a Morgan.
Just and you like have to.
That's silver.
Like why their teeth is so fucked up.
You put the coin in the kid's hand. It's like, It's like,
That's how it was. Like you think of that, like when the gold rushes back then. We don't have that today. I mean, I guess we could, but they've got it so.
there's still gold out there, man.
Oh, there's a lot.
You want to go panning?
You can do that, but I mean, like the large scale, they like control that. Like that's completely controlled. They only give out a certain amount of permits to allow a certain amount of gold to be mined from certain locations that they know there's a lot of gold.
Who said anything about like getting a permit?
No, I just meant it's crazy. Like the fact like we value it a lot. And I'm like, I wonder how much gold there really is, and how quick does it like
I've
renew?
heard it stated before that all of the mined gold on Earth, like all of the gold that people have in their possession, only amounts to like a Olympic swimming pool filled halfway, or maybe like almost to the top if it were liquid.
Oh, well, that is a lot.
So it is pretty rare. Like if you're gonna take that much material and spread it out across the entire planet.
Yeah,
And gold is also very useful, even outside.
Yeah, that's
of
the
just
technological
being
uses.
jewelry and stuff.
Yeah, I want to know what our gold is at in the Federal Reserve, because they said a while back that we don't have any gold in the Federal Reserve. They don't keep it. And I was like, wait a minute. I thought that was the deal that we went on fiat for that.
What is Fort Knox? Because I know Fort Knox is a real place where they keep gold bars, right?
That's what they say, but supposedly we've traded the whole.
It's just like an insurance policy for like part of the government's money is kept in gold
the global
underground or something.
Our currency, like everything to like when you trade like big corporate anybody throughout the world, like the oil and big like barrels of oils you pay and in the marketplace, everything's converted to the dollar and then used that way, and then they have to convert it back to their currency in their country if they're doing it that way. Because we are the nationals, our dollar is the global standard that we go by. Mm-hmm. So, and that was like the deal was they give the central banks, the Federal Reserve, we call it the Federal Reserve because everyone thinks it's part of the government. It's a privately owned bank that's like a corporation entity basically, and they don't. And that can't be governed by any law. It was actually a legal creation.
I've seen a lot of shit about the Federal Reserve scrawled on the back and side of dilapidated pickup trucks and vans in traffic. Yeah,
that's because they actually listened one night to something, and it had a really cool conspiracy. But if you go through history, this is the real creation of the Federal Reserve was like 1913 or whatever. They came into place, not 1913, after the big crash, the Great Depression,
stock market crash.
Yes, they came in and they were like, "All right, we're going to take control of everything," and they called it the Banking Act, and they passed the bill through at night on like December 24th, while everybody was at home with their families, so no one could vote it.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, back then, and Woodrow Wilson signed it into place because he got bought out by the bankers, and he even says in his memoir. He sold out. He ruined what America was being built to be.
We're going to be talking about aliens within 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, but no. This is what he said, and it's true. We basically were in debt because of the fucking war and everything, and we needed money, and they created another war, the Civil War or whatever, and more money.
So you think the Civil War was like a bullshit war or like a created war? Or?
Well, that's like there's a lot of the paperwork you can get, the notes and everything that they have in letters that they've saved. A lot of that shit was like, hey, if you don't fucking do this, we will create, because that's what they would do. It was a big thing for them. If we didn't go, and the bankers had warned them, the Bank of England and London or whatever, the central bank, they told them that when we were like, look, dude, if you guys don't sign on and like basically let us run shit, then we'll cut you off, and you have no money. And that's when we came out with the greenbacks. Like Abraham Lincoln did the whole greenbacks, and that was a big reason he got fucking murdered. It was all over the currency. He created his own. He's like, we didn't need their fiat. we could create and have our own as a country and everything that had its own value, and we could print our own money instead of the Federal Reserve.
Well, according to John Wilkes Booth, he shot Abraham Lincoln because of slavery.
Yeah, no. No.
I think he was lying.
He went to, like, when he ran and left, he went to like one of the fucking big bankers' mansions and vineyards where they fucking, and where he got them.
Come on out of there, you banker! I've done what you wanted.
They wrote a whole book. There's a book called "The Creature of Jekyll Island," and it's all about Georgia. There's a place called Jekyll Island, and it's for rich billionaires and everything. And it's the richest billionaires in the world: the Warburgs, the J.P. Morgan Chase, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. All of them, they came together. Like Ward disguises.
Daddy Warbucks from Annie. He's a member.
He's in there. Who was the other one? Dr. Evil with the cat and everything, but he was still a little lad.
Richie Rich's father.
Yeah. But
Gerald Rich. I don't know what his name was.
They came all together and they were like, they created the Banking Act, which created the Federal Reserve.
Ted Turner.
Yeah. And that was like basically, and it's a system and no one ever realizes it. They give us money. They loan us money with an interest rate. But you can't loan somebody money, create a whole currency in their country and be like, all right, we'll give this to you. We're going to give you $1 million. Or we make it easy. We'll give you $1. You have to give us $1.50 back at the end of the year. And it's like, how? There's only $1 worth of money in the system.
That's what China does to people.
That's what we do.
We're going to build you a bridge, and then you're going to owe us a little bit of interest and, labor and materials, and it just spirals out of control for whatever little third world nation they've suckered into that deal.
Yeah.
But I can't blame. I'm sure we did the exact same thing.
Well, I mean, if you look at as far as if you're looking at the system as a game, like the political wise.
Do you know how many times the CIA has just shown up on some island with guns, just like, we're gonna make sure the bananas keep coming? Like we're not.
Yeah, when you look at the game, though, China's communism, all the whatever they are, dictator is bad, but look at them technologically. They've taken us over, and like they're number one right now. They're considered a superpower. They made an artificial sun. How is that possible?
Did they really?
Yes.
Where is it?
It's in some fucking governmental Chinese. There's a bunch of Bruce Lee standing around with AKs.
What?
Yeah, they're like black belt ninjas.
They do not have an artificial sun.
They do.
Like an orb, like a star in a building.
It's inside of a.
Like
they
Star
have
Trek
a machine.
shit. It's like in a big glass tube.
No, it's in a
This is
metal.
where we keep the sun.
Yeah. No, it's this big metal contraption thing, and
Dr. Chang, you're insane.
That's like there's all kinds of like shit going through with plasma right now too, like plasma engines, plasma jets, and rockets, and all that other shit.
So basically, the machines are going to run on blood.
Probably baby blood, I think, is what my buddy Q is what we call him said. Those people, they're still fucking out there.
Autonomous killing drones out to collect medical debt that are powered by blood.
Hey,
I think that's our future.
I went down that rabbit hole. Not like the 5G towers are giving us the corona, none of that bullshit. But what 5G is going to enable our government technologically to be able to do with drones now, and like tanks and fucking the drones we have now are fucking planes. Like they're planes. They're not drones.
Yeah, it's like a little toy plane in the air.
Yeah, like
you can shoot it.
You could put people in them. Like they could put a chair in these fucking drones. They're that big.
Oh, they're that big?
Oh, dude, they're planes.
Dude,
they're bigger than Cessnas.
Bro, why don't we have drone rides? Like we can do it in like Panama City
Well,
Beach or something.
That was
It's
Richard
like,
Bronson.
Like $35 to get on a drone, and we'll fly it over the beach, and you can fucking take some pictures and shit.
Hey, I was thinking
Get one that Obama doesn't need to blow up marriages and funerals and shit anymore.
Or a bunch of innocent Afghans, you know, and you don't even have to put them on the outside. You can put them on the inside. No, that was a balloon plane. That's what they're saying today. The recent conspiracy. That wasn't a real plane. That was a balloon. Although there is a dude sitting on the wing on his cell phone texting and shit.
Zeppelins never really took off, did they? Like, there was a time when people believed in Zeppelins.
Oh, what was the Zeppelin? What now? You're gonna? Is this a rabbit hole?
This is a rabbit hole. Like at one time, the Zeppelin was like the future of transportation and like the hope of humanity almost. Like the Empire State Building in New York City is actually a Zeppelin refueling station. The tower, that's what it was. I don't know if they still have Zeppelin gas up there and like a guy in a fucking jumpsuit waiting for a Zeppelin to stop
This sounds like
by.
a night full of fun. Where's my book? Oh yeah.
I don't know why I started talking about Zeppelins.
But dude, what really blows my mind is if you,
I think the problem was they burst into flames and fell out of the sky really easily.
Yeah. Whatever happened with the back in? If you look at all the old school science magazines, I watched a whole documentary about all these old science magazines and shit, and like the future of engineering. They were all talking about anti-gravity shit, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. And they were like, they had inventions, they had creations, and it just like went away.
Fucking Goodyear Corporation. That's what happened.
What does Goodyear have to do with it?
They won't. If we can all float everywhere, they won't be able to sell tires anymore.
That's a good one.
They got to sell you these tires that wear down.
How are they going to pay for that blimp? That's a lot of helium.
Go bald in a few months, and you got to go get a new set.
I know.
Got to keep that going. Like Kodak invented the digital camera, and then they sat on it because they were afraid it would kill their film business.
Oh yeah, that's.
And now, where's Kodak now?
I think about that all the time. I think about what
something.
kind of technology they really have all the time, like all the time, and what kind of like underground shit. You ever see like when you hear about new underground bases that that gets leaked or something? It's like what? It's a what?
We have so many abandoned ones that you could just rehab.
Yeah, they have buildings though that they can take fucking semi trucks into and drive them into these bases. It's like. And they're deep under there. We have the National Spatial Geographic bullshit, like the satellite agency right here down the road. Yeah. And it's and they're no joke. Like I've seen people pull up in there and try to go through the gate to turn around, and it's like black SUV Suburbans and block everything off. Dudes with fucking full metal jacket shit comes out, hops out, and dogs, all kinds of shit. You don't fuck around
dragging the family out of their station wagon. You're like, shut the fuck up!
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up!
Yeah, it's no joke.
Oh my god!
And it's just right there. Like there's some barbed wire fences around it. There's a Home Depot and a tanning salon and gym right across the street. And it's like, you can literally just make the mistake.
So what you're saying is a frontal assault, not the way to get in.
No,
yeah, okay.
No. I did the mowing on the other properties around it.
We could tunnel somewhere around Home Depot.
But that shit has everything to do with like our maps and our satellites. Like it knows all about our secret
Seriously,
satellites.
and I got
it's
no
the
signal
CI.
right here. The fucking NSA headquarters is 3 miles away.
Yeah.
I got no bars.
Well, it makes me think. I was like, they're underneath my house. Like one day I had too many. I ate way too many edibles one night. And like,
they're under my house, babe. They're under us.
There's a base under there. They have to be. Like, there's no way everything around here is it. I was like, I got so fucked up on edibles because
why would they be under your house, Brad?
like this whole area had to be a base.
Virus in your computers. They don't need to have moles.
Well,
under
there
your
goes
home.
my monetization. He said the virus. No, I'm not monetized anyways.
I gotta piss.
Yeah, you know where the bathroom's at. Yeah, for like the first few episodes I did, I was like Ronaldo, Nick, Mike, somebody else. They were all pissing, and then my mics would pick them up. You could just hear the stream. Yeah. So it's kind of a competition here.
A powerful stream.
Man, you must have a big old pecker. No.
I don't feel bad because I've seen people take piss breaks on even like the biggest podcasts in the world.
Yeah, like I don't care what anyone feels about it. If you're a comedian and Joe Rogan offers you a spot to go on his show, it's like, who says no to that? Dude, and like, how nervous would you be at a Joe Rogan podcast, just sitting there like, I don't think I deserve to be here right now.
I would like to be on with like some fucking conspiracy douchebag that I could argue with.
Oh, if I could get on with Tim Dillon, Alex Jones, and Eddie Bravo.
And that's why monkeys have never existed, Joe. And I could be like, that's bullshit. I've seen them. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's cause problems, you know.
I go down these like science channel fucking things or where they do these research, and they like did this fucking trial with these monkeys about they gave certain ones they basically, it was a collective knowledge thing, and they eventually trained it, and they knew how to do a certain task, and they knew if they put this in, they would get this out. Okay, and
were they teaching them to jerk them off?
Something like that,
Probably.
And and after they would take them away, and new ones would come in, and they would teach them. And after a while, they learned that every time the new group would come in, they learned it much quicker and learned it a lot faster. And they even did it on humans with like a picture with a bunch of different faces that had other faces in it. And in the first group only seen like 3 or 4 of the faces. But then they showed that group, hey, there's this many faces actually, see? And then they realized it. Well, then they noticed after a couple groups later that the group started getting more and more faces each time. Each like blind group would come in and do it. And it was like there's a collective, like not like these monkeys figured shit out collectively, and it went all over the world, like not just like neighboring tribes and shit like that or people. It was a test that they did countries away from each other.
Like, have you ever heard that saying that says 10,000 monkeys at 10,000 typewriters would eventually produce the works of Shakespeare?
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I think they would just fucking type gibberish forever, and nothing.
I think it would
nothing
get
good
filled
would
with
ever come
fecal
out.
matter after a while.
Yeah, because they actually tried this once. They put a computer or a typewriter in a monkey's cage, and all they did was shit on it.
Yeah.
They were afraid of it, and they pooped on it.
How far do you think they are on AI right now? Like how? Like, cause I keep my eyes on I don't know nothing about them or how they operate, but like quantum computers and shit. Like I hear if we get to like 64 bits of quantum power, like that's more the power to the calculating and like actually doing a task. They have enough power as every molecule in our known galaxy or some shit like that.
I don't think we'll ever be able to have anything more than just like a convincing simulation of intelligence with like the silicon and metal and copper shit that we have right now. It's going to take some kind of quantum leap to get to the point where you really have an artificial human created mechanic brain that's just as intelligent or more than yours.
Yeah. And what about the whole transhumanism shit? Like Elon Musk wanting to put them wires in.
Plus, like human intelligence is like something as we define it. You know, what is machine intelligence?
Well, it's smarter than us. That's what I'm saying. Do you think Google says they have quantum? If they have quantum that well, then they have to have an AI that's a supercomputer.
Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Okay, you know how computers all work? The whole thing comes down to like ones and zeros, right? Binary code.
Yeah.
Well, these and like our computers today have ones and zeros, and they have commands that they must go by.
Yeah.
Okay, and like so, as a hacker, if you're hacking something, you're trying to write codes and guess the right code on it, right? Well, these computers so much don't have to do that. They can just change. Ones and zeros can be either or at any time.
Yeah, that's what quantum effect is.
Yeah. So they have that, and so they'll be able to hack anything. They'll be able to like figure out the nuclear codes like that, and you can have a million fucking hackers hacking at the same time trying to guess that code or just put in the code.
Dude,
and the computer will still beat them.
Something that Joe Biden can remember, so it's probably like a fucking AOL email password or something that just does like a 2-factor authentication through his BlackBerry or whatever it is he has.
It's Biden 123 ABC period.
Yeah, that's what it would be.
Is it capitalized?
It's going to be his dog's name and his fucking daughter's birthday or something. That's the nuclear code.
Hunter doesn't
Jill,
smoke crack.
can you go get that piece of paper off the fridge with the nuclear code on it?
It's right next to Hunter's painting.
Yeah.
That was a good 500 fucking. What did they buy that bitch for? 500,000. That's like that was a great fucking. That's a lot of crack.
So
That's
they
all I
paid
gotta
half
say.
$1,000,000 for a Hunter Biden painting.
Yeah, while he was in rehab, what he painted while he was in rehab. Yeah, and that was like multiple ones. And the sale is secretive. It's completely private. And they're supposedly, at first they're like, but they won't know who the buyers are, so there will be no kind of conflict, no quid pro quo or whatever as they call
I
it.
don't want any of Hunter Biden's art. What the fuck
But
has he
yeah,
ever done
it's
with his
no,
life?
no.
Nothing.
He just had a fucking big time crack dealer to pay off it. Warren Buffett fucking wanted his money. That's the conspiracy. Like Warren Buffett runs the
I
large
like the
crack.
idea of Warren like calling him
Yeah,
up like,
cocaine.
Hey, where's my fucking money?
He's like, look.
I'm getting it, Warren. I'm getting it. Man.
Yeah, but he's like the Illuminati part
Don't
of the
piss off
Illuminati.
the rabbit kid. You just-
Yeah, and he runs the coke trade, like of the northern hemisphere or whatever. He's like the big time. I was like, I could see Warren and fucking. Actually, it's Warren's partner Charles Munger that's like runs it all. See, no one ever hears about him, but them two been partners since the beginning.
Someone that fucked over Warren is dragged screaming into his kitchen in Omaha. Just
Yeah, I've watched a lot of when I first got
you owe
into.
me while he's eating his cornflakes. It's like you owe me a lot of money, Jimmy. Please, Warren. Please, I'm telling you.
Yeah, and he's like, his whole thing, like he's just a tiny. Both him and Charles Munger, they're these little white guys, like dainty, like you could just push them over.
He has Jeff Bezos
And be like, give me
dragged
a-
into his
yeah.
kitchen. Like, you think you have a lot of money, huh?
yeah.
No,
See,
not as much as you. No.
Yeah, that's what I don't get is how they say that. But when you look at people's actual acquired wealth, there's some shit out there that we don't know about because there's families that have had wealth that they haven't reported for so long. Like
like vampires and shit.
no.
You know, like all the records are in
Rockwell.
Transylvania and you fucking turn to dust.
The Rockefellers and the Rothschilds have been around a long time. I'm not talking about the conspiracy thing. They've just been around and had a lot of money, and they've had like they've seen it. They know they have all the little details, and we're in control of a lot of money, and had a lot to do with the banks and the building of America and like other countries. Their families were the ones like loaning the money for that and taking people's gold and have always made the money off the wars. So like we didn't start documenting them and making them, hey, what did you make? And back for a long time. And there's a lot of, I'm sure they have some safes underground, like layers of bunkers that they have that's just full of precious like
All I know is
pieces
I
of-
could show up to practically any protest about any subject and just start screaming the Rothschilds,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I would probably fit in.
with some sign that's misspelled.
They're like protesting whale murder or something, and the Rothschilds, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of conspiracies with them, but then there's a lot of crazy shit that's like, it's hard not to have a conspiracy. It's like every time you're like, oh, what does this have to go?
Conspiracies are fun.
Yeah, but it goes back and it's like,
No.
oh, you're reading something and it's like, oh, so that's owned by that. Oh, the Rothschild University. God damn it.
You know what I think conspiracy theories are? Is it's like horoscoping for guys.
Yeah. Well, they've just been really landed. They've just really been trying to make them right. Like lately, it seems like the whole Great Reset bullshit
Like
that they.
chicks are just like want to find out if they're a Virgo, if their friend's a Capricorn or whatever, and guys are just like, who fucking made those towers fall down for real? You know?
Hey, I've got a video of this guy that's a physicist, and he made it through college. He's he goes
If
by.
we're about to seg into 9/11 conspiracy, I'm gonna be very pleased.
Yeah, oh, dude, 9/11 was one of my. The financial crash are the two that like really, like, I got, like I said, this page this guy does. He's a physicist, and now he's really into UFO. Well, he's not into he's into the technology that these people talk about, like him, and he has all these physicist seminars and shit he puts on his YouTube. But he did a 9/11 fucking breakdown, and he went through the whole spider web of how everyone's connected, like all the way back to motherfuckers that owe them for kindergarten snag money and shit. dog. He's like, and Bush owed this motherfucker money. Like, no, but he's
You know
real.
what? Bush took advantage of 9/11.
Yes.
But I don't necessarily believe that Bush did 9/11.
No, he was a puppet on all of it with all that. And didn't they come out and be like, oh yeah, the Arabians actually, or Saudi was it?
Do we really know who drove those planes?
No,
They could have been drones.
they could have. I mean, did you see the pictures on?
They were probably drones with a bunch of goats on them or something. So there would be materials in case anybody looked through the rubble.
The biggest evidence, I think, is the material, the dust, and what's in the dust, that nanotechnology that wasn't available. That's what the guy breaks down. He's like, look, this patent and this shit wasn't supposedly even created until this time. The only people that had it was only government agency, and he follows like the patents of shit. He follows with the money, who is invested, who is the main fucking holders and shareholders.
Yeah, but is he right?
Yeah, no, he shows like all the fucking, like, he brings everything up. That's all it is him on his computer, and he's like, look, this.
Does he smoke a lot of weed?
No, he's not like that. He's like he's a physicist, and he's like majors in that. This was just a video he did when he was still in college. He's out of college now, older, and all
Physicist with a PH, not an FI.
No, he's got like a PhD. And he's legit physicist. And
no,
shit.
I'm a physicist. I worked for Dr. Pepper.
Man, I hear Miller's got the best though. Like Miller, they got the best retirement package.
Miller beer?
Yeah, there's a physicist.
For physicists?
Yeah. Or was that a phomicist? Yeah.
Good. Throw out that whole barrel.
My buddy met his dad for the first time when he was like, his dad was an alcoholic.
At the Miller factory?
No. When he was
you
like,
work here?
No,
Son!
yeah. But he got off the booze and he got to meet his dad. Reached out and they met, and his dad started talking about drinking a beer. He's like, man, I don't drink anymore, but I remember long day. Get off, and you would I'd crack that. And that
cold
foam, the foam would just rise, and it's like this dude started going into sweats over like a tall boy, and it was like, God damn, dude. I was like, you could tell he was like addicted to booze, like he was bad.
You can get addicted to anything.
And his son was the same way. He was bad. He was addicted to this one girl that was just toxic. Her
name was Toxie?
No, her name was Corinne.
Her name was what?
Corinne.
Her name was Korean, or she had a Korean name?
No, her name was Corinne.
Corinne. Oh, okay.
But she was always doped up on fucking pain pills and shit because she was
like Corinne.
Yeah, but when you'd ask her name, what's your name? She'd be like, Corinne.
That's a troublesome name.
Yeah, it's kind of like your crystal thing.
Yeah. C names.
Yeah. But they would fight like they bad. Like she would throw hands with him, and it just was bad. Get in trouble, police, locked up all over, and be right back with each other. Those just toxic for each other, but won't leave each other alone. So, him and her fucking. He was real bad alcoholic too, but those pills, I think those pills was what really was made it, because I made him come live with me after he got out of jail and was on probation and shit, and he had got a job as a
Can I turn this lamp off?
Yeah, I think there should be some of it.
My eye. There we go.
Yeah, I forgot the glass. Does that glare? Those glasses?
It's just like a really bright spot right in my left side of my vision.
Yeah, I'm working on lighting. I picked up that thing not too long ago, but it's not as bright as I wanted it to be. But it's got a bunch of different settings.
Well, it is Brad's basement, so it should be kind of dark.
Oh, yeah. Well, the back end.
You want to get some Halloween, like, cobwebs and shit?
No, what I want to do is paint this ceiling, like the... I've got a couple ideas.
You got a drop ceiling.
Yeah, I want to take...
Have you had Will O'Donnell in here?
Yeah.
Oh, Will loves a good drop ceiling.
I wanted to...
He probably admired it.
A couple ideas was like to find a art school of artists and like take a bunch of them up there and have them all tag it, because I don't know enough artists. Or like a beach, like you're sitting down here in the ocean and up there's the water, and have like a surfboard up there, because I got one of those old ones, and then like I could have like the bottom of like you're looking up at the ocean. Like,
you want the realtor who resells this house years from now to have a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah, she's going to when she goes into my garage, and they'll be like, this looks like there was some illegal activities going on. Like, I think he was growing weed.
We'll take it.
Yeah, I did for a little while, but it's that garage wasn't. I got power out there. It's insulated like a motherfucker, like fireproof insulation. The power was ran by a professional electrician. It's got the same thing as my house. It's like a fucking. It's got its own breaker box and a panel and everything. Like, because I got 2 on here because this house was built to add on. So I got like 4 or 8 pipes that are capped off that I can just tap into for plumbing. And I got 2 like system electricals, so 240, so 480 system, something like that. I don't know electrical. My brother-in-law does.
I don't know it either.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with that
Yeah,
stuff.
that motherfucker showed up with a whole reel of this cable, thick ass cable, ran it, everything. I was like, hell yeah. And then
How long have you lived here?
4 years now.
4 years.
Yeah.
Have you ever like lived in the deep country before this?
Yeah, when I grew up in Carolina, I lived on the beach, and my dad.
We're like on a mountain right now.
I got like I wanted to build like a stage gazebo out there on that big wall I have, and like a cool ass little thing.
Like I drove through a guy's barn to get here, and he had to move the animals out of the way. And
Really?
No.
Yeah. When you definitely took a wrong turn, like god damn.
he's like, "Come on through, come on."
I already get neighbors. Like I've had people when I do Airbnb, we have they would drive down there sometimes somehow miss the address because we would send pictures and videos to the Airbnb guests like, all right, this is where you're at. Just keep going. You're not lost. Just keep in each like every fucking half of fucking foot. It seemed like we had an updated picture. Here's the mailboxes. Now that you see those, keep going. You're gonna see this telephone pole and a little stack of wood. Turn left at that and there's a sign. We had a sign, a big old sign that said the name of our Airbnb.
I remember what got me is at one point the road takes a hard corner, but it just looks like a driveway, but it's actually the road continuing.
Oh yeah, just like that little dip. Yeah.
No, like it's just all of a sudden it's just like take a hard ass right, and it's just like the road like turns into a different kind of like a brighter white gravel. And like I thought it was just somebody's house. So I'm like, oh, that's the road.
And then there's more up there. Yeah, we've been fighting with the neighbors over that because when we bought this place, there's no HOA. It's a private road, but they come to us after we invited them when we did our move-in party and big huge thing. We invited all the neighbors. Not one showed up, but the only thing they did do is come over in this bitch and ask us for like $200 for road fees and dues. And I was like, hold on, bitch. And then she tried to blame while the road gets fucked up on us. And I was like, no. And I went and looked at it one day after it rained. It froze, so you could follow the water, the frozen water, all the way to where it's coming from originally and washing onto the road to where there should be a culvert pipe. And it's them because they live up on the hills, and all the water comes down off their properties, and where their driveways come into the road, they don't have a culvert pipe that runs to the ditches to either side. So there should just be a culvert pipe that goes to their Y. Instead, all that water washes onto the road, down the road.
They tried to blame that on you.
Yeah, they're like, well, see, you haven't lived here long enough, so you don't understand. I was like, bitch, I do fucking this. And this is when I was running a goddamn hardscape company, like every day doing grades and shit. I was like, I understand grades. And I even worked a deal. I was like, I don't mind paying, but I was like, what are you guys doing to fix this? They're like, oh, we get a rock dumped, and then we have this guy come and spread it, this fucking drunk dude with a half-ass bobcat. I was like, no, fuck that. I was like, we'll get some rock down here dumped. I was like, I have an extra.
It's not a real bobcat.
Yeah.
It's a wildcat.
No, I had a bobcat, a big ass one. But I have a culvert pipe because they started to do a driveway down further to my yard, but I guess they were like, oh, fuck that, it's too steep. But they put the culvert pipe in. I was like, they could have that culvert pipe instead of buying a whole one. I'll pull that one out and we'll just dig that
Dude,
out.
when it snows here, it must be hard to get in and out of here.
Oh my god, dude! I have
Impossible,
to. I prepare. I get the.
like
the,
you probably just park down on the street. Don't
Yes,
you?
yeah, but eventually I'm gonna work on once the lumber prices. That was my plan this summer, was to have from here. It was gonna be a like a little walkway and just down.
Lumber prices, you got trees everywhere. Just chop a couple of them down.
I've been looking into that, making my own sawmill kind of.
Fuck, you could probably just get enough dead logs or trees that have fallen down naturally because of wind.
Yeah, I've
Just
been
walk
working.
around.
I've been trying to get creative with like projects for Etsy store with natural wood shit. It's just so fucking hard.
I don't know.
We don't have special. I don't really have special wood here either. I don't have like oak and hickory.
If you're gonna sell something on the internet, you should sell something weed related.
I sold. I've got record holders like wooden. I make wooden record holders that you can.
Is that
like,
what you do? Are you a carpenter?
Yeah, I've been a home builder for a while, and now I guess I got tired of working with those people because they're assholes, and so I'm trying to do.
Make wooden pipes and bongs and shit.
I've worked on pipes. I gotta get a machine, a spin.
Make like a wooden frame that has like a glass piece inside of it.
Dude, that is. I've always wanted a bong like that. A bong that's like glass, and then like wood, and then glass, like a 2 or 3 piece glass. And
You could have like a nice formed wooden mouthpiece
Mm-hmm.
sanded.
Yeah, because this brand makes one too. This brand makes like, this is like a Bob Marley thing. It's all donate. The money that you spend on their pieces goes to some kind of good cause. I don't know.
Yeah, buying fucking wraps.
Yeah, they don't have wraps, so they just have custom order pieces. Like you get your piece, and there's a code on this, like a hand scratched in code of the artist that made it. You get it, and each piece is like a unique piece. They got like nice bowls that are like spoons, as they're called. They got things like this, but this is a Cheech and Chong one. And they make stuff like that. They don't.
cool.
They need to make stuff like that.
Is this a bubbler?
Yeah, I don't ever put water in it though. See, these are my favorites.
I like this one. I always have loved the giant
Yes.
glass pipe.
Yeah, my favorite thing to do with that guy is to get the moon. Have you ever had a moon rocks, as they're
No.
called? They take a nug. They get like blonde keef hash basically, and they take a nug, and what they do is
This
they
one's
like
got weed in it.
yeah, spark it. But they'll roll it and warm up some wax dabs, and they roll the nug in that, and then they roll it in keef, and then they'll roll it in fucking wax, and then they roll it in keef and put and they coat it in like the weed, trim of the weed.
This sounds like the sort of thing we would do to our shitty weed back in the day to
but
try to
this is-
juice it up a little bit.
Yeah, this is fire weed, but it burns forever.
Like, remember chamber pipes?
Oh, the way you put it in there, and you're like, oh, that stuff's gonna be good. I've been saving that for months.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking black,
It's
dude.
gonna
It's like a
taste
lump
like
of coal in
yeah.
there. Like, we're going to get fucked up.
Oh, you're talking about the resin.
Actually, the best way to do that was to like find a nug that would fit in there without clogging it.
Yeah.
And just let it get a little brown and then smoke it.
And no, I did that, but I learned how to. I started smoking from a boss when I turned like 17, 18 years old. Started working for a guy crawling underneath houses because on the beach everything's on crawl spaces.
But like there was never a choice of weed. You either had brick, and then if somebody had something anything better than that was just called hydro
That yes,
or super kill.
ours was Ganny is what we called it because the guy I worked for was an old hippie that ran his own and he grew, but he didn't grow in smartly like in stages to where he was always cropping. He did one big crop and then 4 or 5 months later he'd have another crop, and it was like so.
When I smoked, when I was younger, like people would grow, but it would just be like whatever seeds they had, and they would just throw them outside somewhere and just see what would happen. And you'd have like a male plant that's all scraggly and shit, and we'd still smoke it and be like, "This is so good.
Yeah,
This is homegrown." And like, I remember like everyone had a metal pipe.
Oh, dude,
The
yeah,
segmented metal pipes.
Yeah, I hated that.
I fucking
I've
hate
always
those
been.
things.
My favorite thing is a chillum. I like chillums are my favorite thing to smoke out of. Oh, there it is. Like that's my favorite pipes to smoke
I
out
don't
of.
like chillums. I always suck through on those.
Oh, see, not a nice. You gotta get a good glass one, and the way you can tell.
I've tried that.
If you
damn
get
it.
a good one, you can get one like, and it
Oh,
has
I
to.
see that. It's got a little donut in it.
Yeah. You can go in, and you got to make sure that a Q-tip fits in it completely, and so you can clean it just perfectly at any time, real quick, and keep it always clean. That's a perfect pipe. When you can fit a Q-tip in there, that the pipe maker knew what the fuck he was doing. Because I used to have a good stash pipe, and it was like real hippy dippy, and it said good stash on the back side of this. Over here it was like good stash.
When I'm looking at glass pipes at the store, like I always feel like around the bowl to make sure it didn't get really thin around there, so my hands won't get burned while I'm hitting it.
Like
Oh,
really
yeah.
cheap glass pipes are always really thin, and they'll burn your fingers.
Yeah, these things are thin glass. These are cheap fucking. They were only fucking. I think I spent like 20 something bucks on that thing, and like 20 on that.
Yeah, like you could buy a glass pipe. Like I buy them from the liquor store down the street. They're really cheap. I just use them until they get dirty, and I throw them away, and I buy a new one.
Yeah, my old lady's like, she's got like 10 baddies, so she'll like throw me. I've got a fucking container that I just dump a couple bottles of rubbing alcohol in. And besides these big ones, all my other bowls, I've got bowls like this that I just throw in there when they get dirty. And yeah, my wife will sit there and clean them. I was like, "Fuck that sticky, nasty mess."
Yeah, like they're usually around $10. I just chuck them when they start getting nasty. My favorite thing to smoke out of though is a glass bong with an ice trap.
Yeah, I don't put ice in mine too often.
Don't do
Every
it
now
too
and again.
often, sometimes.
But I'm not feeling lazy, and I got a bunch of people over. This was one of my favorites that I've got. I don't know why. I guess because I ordered it and.
It's got as many bracelets on it as a festival girl.
And these bracelets have been on my bongs for fucking since I was 23. I started doing this.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 35.
Yeah. All my buddies. That's about you're the age of all my fucking friends. Like I was the guy that was the DD. I had a fake ID, but I couldn't drink because I had to drive everybody that was legal to. I wasn't a big drinker then anyways. I was a big pothead.
I like that green bong you got over there too. That one's pretty.
That one was found in somebody's house that got kicked out and evicted, and like they didn't know what was in it, so I soaked a bitch in a Rubbermaid container, fucking 90% alcohol and salt for like a month until I forgot about it and opened up that thing. Bro, I was like, oh yeah, we got bong. Someone just brought it to me. We had a special needs kid that he wasn't a kid. He was older than me. He was like 45 something years old, but he was special needs. It was like Sling Blade though. This dude could fix any small engine repair. Like you bring him anything in $20, and he could fucking fix it. Like I would bring mowers and weed eaters and fucking generators all the time to him. $20, he'd have it running by the end of the day. And
small engine repair is difficult.
yeah, he has backyard, like at Valley Park, those little tiny backyards that they got down by the industrial area and the baseball fields and everything. You couldn't see grass. There was just mowers upon mowers, just
like
pulled
I've
apart.
never successfully fixed a fucking lawnmower, and I've tried.
Yeah,
If the mower won't start, I'm fucked.
You saw my grass, like you seen the outside of my house.
I didn't really, dude. You're so deep in the forest, like it's not a big deal if your lawn is
I guess
long.
it's just
I didn't notice it at all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, this is the woods. This is a woods house.
Yeah, I don't like it. And inside the fence, I keep inside the fence and right out here, usually together. And then I forgot to take the trash down this week, so because I went to work early and I forgot to take it, and I woke up late. And
How
I was like,
far do you have to bring the trash?
like all the way down the driveway to that pole.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a motherfucker. It is, especially when it's full. Sometimes when it's light and I remember to keep up with it, I can just have that bitch with my hand while I drive down with the car.
Man,
and
that's one of the nice things about being an apartment dweller is no matter what you're getting rid of, if you can fucking get it near the dumpster, you're done with it.
Well, I got, yeah.
Like dude, you see so much shit. People like just leave behind all their furniture. Like they'll put a couch there. Sometimes I find shit that's been thrown away that I can sell.
Yeah.
Like, electronics that still work. If I'm getting it for free, it's profit if I can make anything.
There's shit in electronics, isn't there? That's valuable, just the guts of them and everything, right?
Sometimes.
Like, isn't
Mainly,
there certain computers?
If you're talking about just like throwing something into a shredder to get metals out of it, computers.
Yeah. I thought they had like some
like a
precious
TV
metal.
or a fucking VCR that doesn't have a whole lot of precious metal in it, but a computer does.
What's one of the best old school pieces of technology that they probably don't want you to have?
What do you
like
mean? Don't want you
computers
to
that
have?
can read certain codes or programs, or because I know there's one computer that can read a special program that they had back in like the day, like when computers first came out.
There's
It was
a lot of shit like that, but I don't know if any of it's like sensitive or
not sensitive,
dangerous information.
but just it
I
can,
remember I had a bunch of floppy disks once that I got in a lot of old computers that were from McDonnell Douglas. And there was like, it looked like flight training software from the 1980s or something. I sold them on eBay to somebody.
and for some reason it always ended up in New York into a plane. Into the fucking
It's probably telling you how to fly some plane that doesn't even exist anymore.
And how to fly planes with the weight being distributed from people jumping off of. I mean,
No, I think that was on there, man. Jesus.
I've been hitting that one really hard.
Where to hit a big square-shaped tower to make it crumble.
Yeah.
.exe.
Yeah, isn't that's the other big kind of piece of evidence? Like there's like thousands.
You know, 9/11's coming up, man.
Yeah,
You gonna do a special 9/11 show?
I'm actually doing a comedy show with John at the Pops. My buddy Antonio's got a big album release with his band. His band Discrepancies is actually pretty big. Like they tour regular. They did like the last Warp tour. They do Point Fest. They do all kinds of like bigger shows. So they're doing a pop show because that's kind of where their home base and everything. So I've never done a show like that. John's done them a few times, so I don't know how it's gonna go. And I'm also doing Afro Man at the end of the next month of September. I'm doing a cannabis festival show that Gary Becker is actually.
You belong there, man. That is your.
I didn't. Not one person asked me to be on any 420 show this year. I didn't get not one, and I was like, "That's funny."
I usually don't go anywhere on 420.
But there's a lot of comedy shows booked. And I was like,
Well, like, it's just a fucking. It's a day to get pulled over in my mind. You know, like every 420 historically, like we're always just like, let's get some weed early in the day or the day before, so we don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, my 420s every day, but on 420, what I do is
you know the cops are thinking like this is weed day. We need to fucking be on alert. Yeah. It has to be in their mind.
Yeah, motherfuckers don't realize either today. They're smart now. A DUI is a DUI is a DUI. Weed or booze, it's still
do they have
same
a test
charge.
yet? Can they prove you're high?
They don't have to. They have these cops that have went through special drug training
That's
to be
bullshit.
able to. No bullshit. There's people that are going through court, and there's fucking all
There's
kinds.
people they'd probably class as stoned when they're totally
Yeah,
sober
there's
just because they fucking
They
have done a
have
lot of
ruined
drugs.
people's lives for saying that some people were stoned. Like this one cop, there's a documentary. There was like a 60 Minutes or something. Come out and said she was driving. She's been driving back through Texas or something like that. They stop her, and dude runs a sobriety test on her. Says that by his tales, he could tell she was. Put her in jail, right? Pay all this money. Had to prove that she wasn't by paying for tests. She did.
That's not scientific.
Yeah, she had to. That's what they have to do, and she don't get none of the money back. She just spent thousands of dollars to get herself out of there. Was unable to pay
She
for
can't
college.
sue for costs.
Yeah, you're trying to come after a state that's already broke. That's been using civil forfeiture laws like as their way of funding everything.
What state is this?
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
Texas is fucked up. Remember when their electricity was turning off just because it got cold out?
Yeah.
And then it was turning off because it got too hot outside.
That's
like, yeah,
what
good
happens when you
job, guys.
privatize
Yeah.
with a fucking corporate.
If
But
you
ours
look this
is
up
too.
on Wikipedia, like it's like Texas has its own separate power grid for part of the state for political reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, we do too down here. I got into it with Ameren when I first bought this house. I was looking at my electric bill closely. When I first lived here, I was growing, and I was switching over equipment from like high pressure sodium 1,000-watt lights to LEDs. Like, so I was watching everything, and when it became summer, it was like 25-30% more, and we used the exact same amount of kilowatts. And so I call them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, summertime fees, summertime rates are in effect now." And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, now that it's hotter and you'll be using it more, we charge more. And I was like, so you're price gouging? No, no, no. I was like, yes, if you hired me to build you a house and it happened to be the time frame was during the summer, and I was like, oh, sorry, that's an extra $100,000 because it's going to be summer fee time, summer rates. Sorry. She's like, no, you can't do that. I was like, if a hurricane takes out a fucking place and the owner of a store has only place with power and is selling ice for $100 because hurricane fee rates or rates, like you can do it but nobody else can.
Yeah, Ameren is a shit company.
Yeah. Like, who
I'm
else
with
is there?
Quiver River. It's a cooperative.
Oh yeah.
They've been pretty decent with
I don't
me.
know if I can get anybody else.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're just fucking stuck with whoever is
Yeah.
your power company for where you live. I don't think you even have a choice.
But she got smart with me. I was like, look, that's fine. I've already got a guy that's coming. I had an appointment set up for solar. I want to do solar here. Completely get off the grid. I don't want it tied to the grid at all. I will store my own power, whatever
That's where
don't
we
fucking
need to
have.
go. We have
Yeah.
unlimited free power coming out of the sky all day, every day.
People are dumb though that do get it and then they're tied into the system to where it feeds in. Because if that grid goes down, you can't get your power. Your shit is tied into that. It goes to that and then to your house. Like, it's not. You're not off the grid. You're on the grid still. If it goes down, your power's gone.
If you can get enough solar during the day and store it all in enough batteries, you can get off the grid.
Yeah, well, I've got this whole back hill back here. That's 100% sun. My whole roof's all sun the whole time, and
Start
I
getting
can
panels,
clear
man.
some land. And yeah, I wanna get it to where I can power this and my garage if I want to convert that into like a fucking mother-in-law suite or some sort. And like, I
Where
want
does
to
that ladder go to upstairs?
up into the moon tower, watchtower thing.
Oh, is it like a little circular room with windows or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
That's
it's got a
dope.
hammock and shit up there.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's definitely.
You go up there and just like sit in the hammock?
Yeah,
Just, like, smoke and shit?
Yeah, me and my wife would go up there and fucking chill out and smoke a joint and look at it overlooks the whole property and everything. So it's like it's when she saw it, because we were gonna buy land and
Nothing
build.
about this place is wheelchair accessible.
Uh-uh.
Like, you couldn't get nowhere around here. Like, there's steps, there's a fucking ladder.
Well, the little ramp to get up to my steps, from the down from the gravel up.
Can you imagine if you lived here though and you were in a chair? Like, what if my brakes go out and I go rolling down that fucking driveway at 50 miles an hour?
Yeah, well, we had our wedding party when we got back from Mexico, and we got married there and had a big party back here. And her like grandma it's like 90, just turned 91. She was like 89. Walked up here and shit. And I had a valet. I had a driver come in, and he was just dropping off a load of people, and she was just like, come up here. I was like, God damn. But she just turned 91, still kicking it. She loses her mind a little bit on it, but I don't know.
I'm trying to get my grandparents to smoke. I think it could help them.
I wish I could.
So I got a like, my mom's parents are still alive, and they're fucking like almost 90.
Yeah.
Both of them. Of course, people that old hurt all the time. That's just normal for.
Yeah, there's a lot of things out there.
I'm like, go get some CBD. They're legalizing everything.
Yeah, good CBD too, not the cheap overpriced stuff. 'Cause Koi makes a really good CBD. Sunshine Daydream. So
Yeah, you know about like what's a good CBD to give to an old man who's got sore joints and shit.
It's the brand name is called Koi, and if he's old and he just wants to not feel the pain, just get the strongest that they got, and start with.
What do you do with it? You just, like,
It's
rub
in
it on?
droppers. You take it.
Oh, okay.
It's just in like little eyedropper things, so you can dose yourself that way and know your dosage. I use it for my dog too. For he's old. He's like 11, 12. Got bad hips now. He's getting.
Can you tell like it makes him feel
Oh
better?
yeah, that I'm getting ready to start him with that, and I use THC CBD with him. I do a 1-in-1 THC CBD, and I hook him up because he has seizures. He's on a phenobarbital regimen now, to where he takes the phenobarbital, which is a pharmaceutical pill.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
How you're like medicating your dog
Yeah.
with his seizures and pain. Like seriously, like
Yeah.
that's cool. I like that.
He's like, so, and it wasn't until we moved here that he
'Cause,
had
like,
seizures. So.
Animals don't get health care. You
No,
know? Like,
he's expensive too because
yeah,
it's like
it's all out of pocket
yeah,
with animals.
pharmaceuticals like that phenobarbital. I have to get every year. He has to get blood work done to check his levels and kidney check, like all kinds of
So
different.
after you give your dog that cut THC, does he like get hungry and like?
He calms down. Well, after he really gets it after the this anytime he's like I'm noticing.
Basically, what I'm asking is, does he act like a person does when they get high?
Oh yeah, I get him high too, like because he comes in. My female, the Penny, she loves if you sitting there smoking a joint, she comes and gets right in your face, and she's just and it's like God, you're such a stoner. She loves weed, Buddy. He'll lay on you and just be like chilling, but I've gotten him stoned like to the bone when he first started having seizures. Yeah, I was keeping him high for a while, but he
Does he like it?
after a while, yeah, he doesn't realize at first. Like he gets a little hyper at first. He goes gets up and down on the couch, up and down, and he'll be like, "All right, let me chill," and then he starts to chill, and he like. I can tell then because I'll look. Usually, if I get up and walk away, he's right on my heels. He follows me everywhere. I don't have to put a leash on him. I don't keep the gates closed. I just open the doors, let them do their thing, and if I leave, they leave. And he don't even get up. He just looks up at me. He lifts his head, just lays back down. But that and turmeric. Turmeric, have your grandfather try that. It's really great. That's a great thing for.
That's like an old school supplement.
And it is, but they have a lot of different ways to deliver. Like they have pills, they have droppers, they have teas. But that shit will.
Can I get it in a suppository?
I think they do. Yeah, suppository turmeric, but it's really great for inflammation.
Has anyone ever suppository THC?
Yeah,
Just to see what
yeah.
would happen?
A lot of people do that have like colon cancer. Chong did for a while. He was doing THC suppositories.
You probably get I think you would get high pretty quickly doing that, wouldn't you?
It's
like a path
right
to
there
the
to the
bloodstream.
that mucous membrane that
Yeah.
the drug's got to get to. Yeah, definitely.
So he did it when he had colon cancer.
Yeah.
God, that's that's one thing I don't want to have. Like, please don't let my fucking asshole go out on me.
Oh man.
Like, I need that to keep working.
Yeah, I've had.
It's like having an oil leak in the car. It's just like it's a matter of
Oh,
time.
I know how bad it
It's
is.
just a matter of time now. If I'm leaking, I don't have much time.
You
You
ever
know?
heard of-
Like, that's a bad thing.
You ever hear of an anal fissure?
Yeah. You ever
It's
heard
a little
of
tear.
You ever hear of anal fistula?
Yeah. The fissures come from fistulas.
Like an anal fistula was something that like knights would get back when they rode horses, all like for very long distances on a fucking hard saddle. Just boom,
Yeah.
boom,
I've
boom, all
got
day
an
long.
anal fissure from
You gotta look
sitting
up
on
the,
walls the wrong way when I was
the
carpentry.
the medieval surgery guide for how to medically take care of one is fucking horrifying. But apparently it had a very good success rate. It involves like splaying the guy's legs open, spread eagle, and taking like a metal hook and like fucking jamming it into the mass and then like getting it to start draining and then like making another hole somewhere else for fluid to drain out of. And apparently it had like an 89% success rate.
If they
It's
kept
just
it
an
clean.
extremely it's just an unbelievably painful thing to go through.
Yeah, everything sounds painful from back then.
Yeah, it's because they didn't like the strongest alcohol they had was like ale.
Yeah.
Which is like
Nothing. Yeah.
You'd have to drink a fucking ton of it to get drunk enough to not feel pain anymore.
Yeah, they'd get drunk off a couple Bud Lights today.
Yeah,
Bud Lights.
They probably didn't have very good tolerance. But like when was like super hard like liquor invented? Was that in like the Old West?
Not the old way. You got to think Prohibition was
Because like
just
Indians
shiners,
were totally like unprepared for whiskey.
fire, water. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I guess
rum. You gotta think
American
rum,
Indians probably
pirates.
had like some indigenous like fermented alcohol drinks or something that they had.
Yeah, elixirs as they would call them.
But like
Yes.
like sour mash whiskey is like liquid fucking
Death.
heroin.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
well-
Like, it can fuck you up.
Corn mash fucking just straight shine is like, and that's what they were doing during Prohibition. But before then, I believe you had like the pirate days with the rum. So they had rum in the 1700s.
So I think that's probably like that fucked indigenous Americans up. It fucked up their culture, you know, because all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, alcohol is 100 times stronger than it's ever been.
Yeah. They've started learning how to synthesize. It's like everything. They figure out the main chemical that fucks you up, and they're like, synthesize it. Like Hitler
and
was
like
like,
the
they're
Europeans that
sleepy.
were invading their land were used to this shit,
Yeah.
and like of course they were like white people were just fucked up all the time.
Oh yeah, we were like, oh, you're cold. Take this blanket.
But I watched some documentary about how much liquor people drank in the 18th century in America, and it's fucking mind blowing.
Have you seen Peaky Blinders?
No.
Oh man, they do a very good. They show about like, because I had to look it up. Cocaine was like a normal substance.
Yeah, you could just buy it at the drugstore.
Over this, and it was a cure-all back then. They would, the doctor would be like, "Here, take some cocaine for a headache, or like, if you, especially they would definitely for the intestinal if you had like irritable
Do you
bowels."
think cocaine, like, does it have any legitimate medical use?
Oh yeah, that's why it's not scheduled like it's not scheduled the same thing as like acid is a worse.
Like what kind of
Yeah,
medical condition
lidocaine.
could cocaine actually help with?
They use it for lidocaine and numbing agents and
Yeah,
and different medicines is what they and creams and stuff like that in the medical field, and that's why it's a different. Same thing with like opiates and heroin and shit is the same thing, but you get acid, mushrooms. I think they're talking about scheduling that one differently, but that's still the gnarliest of gnar. Fucking DMT is the same thing. These things have they haven't found the medical. They refuse to look and allow them. They just started allowing mushrooms, and the results they've got that you could take any two, psychotherapeutic drug that's out there, benzo, any of the best two on the market today, and it beats both of them 70 to 80%
Well, I
for
think-
PTSD and anxiety, any depression. And it doesn't just cure, it doesn't just like put a Band-Aid on it. It actually is getting down to the actual cause of it in the brain
I
and
think-
curing it. And they're seeing like the way they look at it on the scanner with the red to green, they're seeing the red actually disappear and turn back to the normal state a brain should be. And it's just amazing.
Like, I've never tripped, so I can't really speak to it. But, like, I guess what's happening is it's just removing whatever barriers are there for people in their regular, sober, conscious mind.
Yeah, see,
That makes it hard for them to confront their trauma or their pain or whatever
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
that's bothering them.
yeah, a hero dose, as they call it, is just it's a lot like DMT. See, DMT. All right, when I first took mushrooms, I was maybe 19 or 20, and when I took them, it wasn't what I thought it was. It wasn't until I took acid a couple years later, is like, oh, this is what I expected mushrooms to be. Mushrooms is much more to me is like a self. I don't want to do mushrooms around people. I don't want to do them in big groups.
See, I've always told, like, if you're going to trip, you have to have someone around you.
Yeah, you should have yeah, I've been
I guess,
that
like,
guy so
maybe
many
like
times.
one trusted friend.
Yeah,
or
you just have
something,
somebody
but
that knows-
Not a lot of people.
Somebody that's experienced too, that knows how to kind of hold your hand through it. That if you sees and can see you going like a south and taking your maybe.
Because I have anxiety problems, I take medicine for it, so like,
Yeah, this.
it might not be a bad, you know, it might be a pretty bad time if it goes south for me after I. Take
No, those are the
something like
best. But that's when see, a lot of people, they're scared of the bad trip, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's where you're getting you get the most benefits from a bad trip. Yeah, the fun trips are the fun trips that you hear about. That's what you hear about. You don't hear about the guy that's in the fucking tub, fucking in a fetal position with the water running on him, crying, yeah, and scared, screaming, doesn't know because he's having a horrible trip. But when he comes out the next day, he's a new human being. It just kills and crushes that ego because you realize how quick when you have those bad trips, what makes it bad is because you come to realization of how tiny you really are and what you what is it, that stupid cliche, dust? You're just going to be dust.
The insignificance of your life and consciousness in comparison to the universe.
Yeah. And you don't see, and the thing about mushrooms is you don't see the other side of it. You only see that darkness of it and come to realization. Now you go onto DMT, which is the strongest of of tripping. That takes you to the level of, some people call it the control room. Basically, there's entities, or as Joe Rogan calls him, Jekylls, and these clown things, or they're dark, but you tell they're the best way I've heard it explained is you get there and you're kind of looking back, you're like in space, and there's all these hyperbolic geometric patterns that are shifting and just continuously shifting, and you're somehow part of it, but you're not, and you're watching it.
Maybe those are aliens who are also tripping on DMT on some other planet somewhere, and you're just making kind of mind contact with them.
Well, that's you meet them when you break through that scary point of it, as they call it, the waiting room. You break through, and then you get to kind of communicate with them a little bit, but you're not like talking and everything, but you look at them and you're kind of like, what is this fucking crazy place? And they're like, no, what is that crazy place? And you look back and you see fucking Earth, and you're like, all the horrible shit you do and have done, and to people that, and you just see how horrible our fucking, how crazy our shit is. You're like, oh wow, yeah.
So you turn around and you look at reality, like in a slideshow of
just in a way
upsetting things.
And you don't see it in a slideshow, but you just come to realize, like, yeah, we are pieces of shit, and then you realize that it's they're
making a point, like we live in a kaleidoscope.
Yeah,
but
and it's almost like another good way they explain it is like you realize that it's like a Mario Brothers game, and you're one of the Luigi or Mario. Mm-hmm. And you basically smoke this shit and you zap out of the screen, and you're sitting there next to us but it's freaking you the fuck out because it's a whole nother dimension or realm that you hit, and these characters are there, and they're like, oh no bro, you're just like this program, and we put this little cartridge into there and we turn it on, and yeah, that's how this works. I controlling you, see, you
think the entities control us in some way?
In a way, because the two things about DMT trips is everyone explains their trip almost these beings, and they always explain them as a more intelligent way. And then they match up the exact same reports of people that have died or had really close near-death experiences or completely flatlined. Their two experiences, you can't tell the difference.
Maybe DMT is releasing the same chemical in the brain that the brain releases to keep you from freaking out when you're dying.
Yeah, we do. Everything on the planet supposedly has some traces of DMT. You find it in the mimosa root bark of the Mimosa hostilis tree, and you grind that up and you can extract a lot of it. Or you can do it the ayahuasca, that shit. But I ain't never done that. That's like you have to go through purging. You're not supposed to like eat sugars, or you're supposed to have like nuts and berries
I'm always bad about that.
Yeah,
Every
and
time
water.
I've had surgery, I didn't listen to the directions, and I ate dinner last night.
Yeah, no, these
I can't fast.
No, this makes you purge. Like when you take it, like if you didn't fast, shame on you, because you're gonna end up puking it or throwing it up. This ayahuasca,
they told me not to eat dinner like the night before I had teeth pulled. I'm like, fuck you. I'm gonna be living on applesauce for a week. I'm gonna be eating good tonight.
And anesthesia just puts you to sleep. This shit is taking you. It's a slower process than DMT. It's the same. It's still dimetrotryptamine, and so it's the same thing, but smoking it, vaping it, boom, instant, and it's over within like 15, 20 minutes. It's over. It feels like an eternity, but it's usually over 15, 20 minutes, sometimes 30. But ayahuasca is like fucking 12, 16, 18 hours before you're from base to
You better have
peak
nothing to do for the
to
next
bottom.
couple days.
Well, when you come, what people are doing to go there, they have really bad depression, like people like rape victims or people like that have had just fucked up lives, soldiers and shit like that, real bad
I think
PTSD.
one day, microdosing psychedelics will probably be like an accepted medical procedure
Yeah,
that you can get prescribed and pick up from a pharmacy.
Well, psilocybin,
just like
yeah.
anything else.
They already do psilocybin as a pill form. They have
That's nice.
They know how to synthesize and to basically pull that molecule and put it in a pill form.
Because
And-
like the way I look at it is, even if you don't believe in any of this shit, you think it's all nonsense. You think these people are just tripping balls, and it's just the placebo effect. The placebo effect works.
Yeah, but this actually works. They're now actually, because Oregon's decriminalized the drugs, and there's a lot of studies going on. I believe it's Johns Hopkins University and somewhere else in Oregon that's really, and Colorado. Colorado's legalized mushrooms as well. So there's like they're all communicating with each other. So they're actually getting all this shit. Now they're able to get it peer reviewed. Now they're actually able to get the research in. And with the amount of technology we have for the ability to research this now. Back in the day, finding what it was, how to find it, how to fucking pinpoint exactly what it is and why it's doing it. Now that's just chemistry to them. They know, oh, it's legal now. Okay, now we just throw it in this machine. We do this, break it down to a powder form, put this solvent in there, throw it back in the machine, let it spin up, and extract this. Boom. This is what's fucking you up.
But yeah, it's like, I guess we do live in a golden age of drug acceptance, even if everything else is in the shits.
Yeah, and especially our big pharma, like
Like everyone smokes weed now, like normal people. Like,
Yeah.
And
the company I
it's
work.
not cool anymore to smoke weed. Smoking a joint is like watching a Star Wars movie at this point. It's absolute mainstream. Everyone does it.
But there's still a lot of the cops that are like,
I can't get over that. Like, I still look for cops when I'm driving.
Oh, yeah.
You do it too in your
Yeah.
rearview mirror constantly, even when you don't have anything.
Yeah.
I do that everywhere. I'm like, is that a fucking cop?
yeah, oh yeah, especially because I drove for the longest time.
And I gotta
'cause-
sit there and tell myself, like, I have nothing in the car. My plates are good. All the lights are lit up.
I lost
Like,
my
I'm not gonna
license
get pulled over.
for years. I drove without a license for years because a weed charge in Virginia Beach that I paid for and everything, but the court system didn't transfer the paperwork to the
There's a
DMV.
beach in Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia Beach. Like,
Is it a lake?
no, it's like one of the largest tourist locations.
What is the body of water?
The Atlantic. Same thing that the Florida is all connected to. Like
Virginia touches the ocean?
the 13 colonies. Like,
No, dude. Virginia's
it's
landlocked.
connected to fucking D.C. and Washington
No, it's
and
not.
Maryland.
No,
and
it's like
you
it's
go
like
all the
fucking
way
to
up
left.
to connect it. No,
It's like
it's the East
Virginia.
Coast.
Virginia fucking borders like Kentucky.
No, it
Like-
borders Carolinas. It borders
Hold on.
West Virginia.
Just wait. There's no internet.
Hey, I got a map, bro. I was born there. We have the world's largest
I'm
fucking
just
Navy base.
confirming
World's largest Navy bases out
Every
there.
American stereotype. Yeah, god damn it. Virginia's got a bunch of Atlantic.
It's where we
Son of a
crashed
bitch.
originally.
I thought Virginia was like to the left of Pennsylvania in my brain.
Hey, it's okay. Once you get past like that, I know where Florida.
I always forget the name of the state directly above us. I always forget Iowa. I'm like, what the fuck state is that? I can never
Iowa's
remember
above us.
Iowa. yeah, dude.
See, we don't have shit.
Iowa is like Missouri's hat.
Damn, that's a lot of state to go through before you're. What's next?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. There's comedy out there, isn't there? Like
Wisconsin,
it's cold.
Wisconsin is a very dark place. Michigan's a good place.
I want to drive.
The
I want to go to
Dakotas,
Texas, but
Wyoming,
it sounds like it's
Montana,
getting
like all the
saturated.
states that have so little going on in them that they're just like, just make it a square. You don't need to make that line go around anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just everyone negotiate.
That's how they
square mileage
originally
you want, and we'll
gave-
square it out.
Well, that's why they gave it the Indians at first. So like, here, you go have that square right there, just a square.
Indians didn't even know what a fucking square was.
And they were like, these
What?
idiots are gonna buy land from us. They
said-
can't buy land. You
They
can't
say
own
there's
land.
an imaginary line here. This is where it begins.
See, that's how I looked at it when I was a kid. I remember when I first met my grandfather, I went out and seen him when I was like 11, 12 years old, my first time meeting my dad's father. And he was into like reading all the documentaries. He was really into being a cowboy in Indians and all about the Indians. And he was reading this thing about the Trail of Tears. And he explained like how the whole thing happened and went down. And I was like, wait a minute, we came here, and then he talked about how Mexicans, a lot of the Mexico was actually, like, America and Mexico, like, we just drew these imaginary lines, and we're like, we're better than you, stay over there, you know, and it was like, but there's no real lines anywhere, and when it all started connecting in my head, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, who drew these lines? Some old racist white dudes?
You can't even imagine.
Yeah, so when I was like 10 or 11.
How racist and how white the men that drew these lines were. Like, oh
They're-
my God.
like the lines originally were like this, and then they were like, yeah, well, actually, we're going to do this. We like Texas. We're going to do this. And the Mexicans are like, hey, ese.
The ruler they used was like made out of bone from
Yeah.
a murdered person. Like, these were evil men.
They went over to go to Texas, and there was an imaginary line there, and they were like, they're pendejos. These motherfucking cabrones.
Just like, I says we put all the undesirables yonder.
Like that. What's that skit Dave Chappelle did about the how they created the N word, the no gooders. Like you can't call. How about wieners? And now they got that big penis thing. You know.
I remember that now. Yeah.
So that shit is hilarious. I like that. It was a sketch out these dudes did. This one guy did that I kind of wanted to do a spin-off of, but it was this dude that came out, and his black friend asked him if he had his money, and he's like, hey man, I need that money. He says no, and then he's got a black guy that he's hired, and he's like, and he says the word and shit. He's like, look, I'll have it when I have it. And the black guy said anytime he wants to say the N-word, he hired a black guy to say it. And his friend that's black is just like, what the fuck? Like, hey man, I need that money. Yeah.
He'd do it for him.
Yeah, it was like, oh, that's fucking good. I wanted to do a sketch to where it was like, you hired a white dude when, let's say, you're filling out, a black guy's going to get a loan for a house or trying to sell their house or their car or just anything, just going out, just doing white people's shit. That they
White people shit.
Not like white people
shopping
shit.
for rattan chairs.
Yeah. Not like the loan thing. I'm just like how they were just busted. A black lady had a white guy list her house after she tried to get it listed, and
I saw
for
that.
the white guy, they was like $100,000 higher value.
Just because a white dude lived there.
Yeah, and it
But
was
like
like
white people, especially today, like in the present day, like they have the saddest interior design choices.
and then I wanted
Like
it to.
everything's just beige and gray and white. And like, have you ever been to a furniture store in North County? They have shit from Star Trek in there. Like seriously, like couches with fucking like blue LEDs underneath them and
Yes,
shit that
yeah.
they're all square shaped and like there's like floating cushions. Like
cooled fucking like drink holders.
yeah, like
drink-
everything's fucking amazing looking.
That's where that one came from. I love the big
Like
brown
I saw,
old
like they had
school.
like a big rug for sale with like a swirl pattern, and it was violet with silver, alternating swirls. Like,
But then
everything like it looked like it would be in a pimp's living room. It was beautiful.
yeah, like or gold.
And if you go into a furniture store in St. Charles County, it's just like a J.C. Penney catalog background. It's just the
Yeah.
most boring shit.
It's contemporary.
Everything's beige and brown and white.
White,
gray and
yeah,
black.
white.
There's
yeah.
no fun colors. Nothing has studs. Nothing has lights. Nothing has glass.
That's all electric, believe it or not. That one. That's that. I got that for my Chase Lounge. I got a big like it, and it's all electric. That motherfucker laid. I just got to get a bigger
Dude,
TV.
white people love Chase lounges.
Yeah, I'm white when it comes to that, bro. Like, in a lot of places, even my skin. I'm not pink. I'm pank. You know.
Pank?
I'm pank.
I'm pank.
But I wanted to do like then I wanted to cut to like a white guy playing basketball and like he's like getting ready to drive the lane and the black dude comes in and dunks it and shit. And
Man, I
just
gotta use the bathroom again.
yeah. Where we at? Yeah, keep. We'll wrap it up after you get done with that. Man, those people that do the podcasting just by themselves and shit, just sit there and do podcasts. I was like, that's weird. I can't. I don't know what. I'd be like, all right.
You gotta have like a constant inner monologue, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be hyperactive. Like Bill Burr does a great one-man podcast.
Oh, yeah,
It's because
yeah.
he can just do stream of consciousness.
Yeah. Well, doing what is I always get from a lot of the comedians. I always ask them what was the best. I've always noticed with like I can kind of see it too with new comedians and watching them. The more I'm in it and more I'm watching, even with myself. There's like these little fucking steps or things that we'll go through. We notice and we learn or see or it clicks. Something every time it's something that clicks and you see, oh, he's really doing a lot better at this. And like people figure out how to tag or do that, or somebody tells them something. Like mine was a big one for me was learn what an actual joke is. Learn what the different jokes are. Learn what each one is and learn what they are so you can recognize them. That way, when you're writing out something and you figure out like, oh, this is a funny something that happened, you can actually find what joke it is, why it's a joke, and you can just take the joke and you don't need all the other bullshit with it. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense in a way. And I learned what all the different, like the 9 different, the incongruency, the misdirection, the fucking what shit.
I think the biggest thing I've learned recently is to let people laugh.
Yeah.
I tend to, I think a lot of newer people tend to, but I tended to talk through the laughter, especially like big laughs when I'd get them. Like, just let them,
Let it soak in.
let the people laugh, let them stop laughing, then continue.
Yeah,
and that's how every professional does it. They don't talk over their laughter.
Yeah, you don't want to walk all over that and like kill it.
Because that might even make people feel like, should I stop laughing? Like, no, never stop laughing.
Yeah, that's the thing. One of the worst things about open mics with the little bit of a time they give you. That's why when I did my first 15-minute set, I was like, oh, I've got to learn to let shit breathe a little bit. And I can. And then when I did my first like weekend that I did 25-minute sets, it was like I was able to not just let it breathe and let them laugh, but actually be able to laugh and enjoy the show with them and be actually part of it instead of just regurgitating some shit. Actually be more comfortable, become more comfortable on there was a big one, but that's, I don't know. Are you the type that writes? How do you write? Or do you just type right off the top of your head and you think of it when it comes
I definitely don't sit down and say, like, I'm going to write comedy right now. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I wait for just funny thoughts to come to me, and then I make note of them. And then sometime later, I will, just have some time to practice or whatever.
You think deeply about that,
and I'll look up those notes, and I'll just start talking to myself, and because stand-up comedy is kind of a one-sided conversation.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'll
and
just
you do
start
well with it. You do very well with like how you take them down this like the St. Louis shit with the zoo and like the Cavalier thing with that's all good, very indescriptive and.
I definitely can't really write one-liners.
It doesn't,
one-liner is kind of the opposite of the way I write. Like, everything I do has to have some kind of progression and kind of like a little bit of a story to it, and like it starts here and ba-ba-ba, and then it ends.
Yeah.
And I usually like stay on topic for at least a few minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I could never like joke about 10 topics within 2 minutes. Like, that's not my style.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about the way what I do. You're very observational and comparison. You extreme. You take two things that kind of don't belong in like That's like doing this, and yeah,
I like-
you can tell it's thought out, but it's not like you wrote it down and plugged and played. All right, that word didn't work. Put this one in there, where you have a list of different words that like what is it? The joke doctor Jerry Corley's method. You just write down the subject in a news article or whatever. Write down a bunch of things that relate, words and everything that relate with that, and just start plugging shit. It's like eventually you'll come, and that's the way a lot of the Jay Leno's and the late night fucking comedy bullshit was written.
I could probably do that if I needed to write like a bunch of 1-minute jokes about the news for Jay Leno or whatever. But like when I'm writing stand up, it's just a funny idea. I make a note of it, and then later I start talking to myself about it. And just like how could I tackle this funny observation about this subject and talk about it for a few minutes and have some bizarre statements in there that are really stupid that will make people laugh. Maybe some dark things. I like stupid and dark.
Yeah.
You know, some dark, bizarre, maybe some surreal shit that's still kind of believable, but like is so silly that people will laugh at it.
Oh yeah.
And then like I'll just talk to myself about it for a few minutes, and then like I'll do it again and I'll do it again until I've got like maybe like a tight 5 or maybe like 3 or 4 minutes on the subject, and then I'll do that at an open mic.
Yeah, that's I'm not good with that.
I don't write it all down word for word.
Yeah, I did that in the beginning. That doesn't work at all. But I'm really good at. I am one that does write exactly how my thought while I'm writing down is what I'm saying. I'm writing down in my head the same thing I'm saying.
My brain doesn't work.
Most people write properly. They write the way you're taught.
When I'm sitting down at a desk with a pen, like the juices aren't flowing.
Yeah.
Like when I'm writing, I'm walking around talking to myself.
Yeah, dude, I carried my dictaphone that I have somewhere.
I gotta get up. I have to move my legs around to think.
Yeah, one of those.
About like writing material. I think like I don't do well the school method of being at a desk. Like that makes me want to fall asleep.
Every now and again, I'll get in a good like rhythm, and I'll fucking sit there and be able to write out some shit because I'll have a couple good ideas I want to write out and see what I can do with them. But usually, most of my ideas and thoughts come right while I'm driving. I'm by myself driving and shit. I hear something, notice something, and then again, I do still try to like regularly try to force myself to take something and try to make it funny, like I did with the Afghani plane thing. Like I was like, I gotta find something. That was just a challenge to myself. I was like, there's something there. Like, and I was like watching it and seeing the dudes fall off, and they were talking about how high up he was, and I was like, he's high. Boom, plugged it, just done. I was like, oh, that's gonna be somebody's gonna laugh.
That doesn't work well for me. Like if I know I have a subject that could theoretically have a great joke attached to it, and I just try to make myself think of something, it's hard to do.
Yeah,
it can happen, but like it works best if I just go about my life and wait for it to just kind of snap in there. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's usually how it is. I don't know why, but usually I recognize are they homonyms or whatever they're called? It's like words play, basically. A lot of word play. I
remember what all those English class terms mean.
Yeah. I looked it up one point in time when I was like wondering about the kind of style. Really got into like what kind of comedy I was doing, and I guess one-liners and everything. And there is like they do have a lot of fucking science on comedy and laughter and different things.
Like that's where they always lose me.
Yeah, but you know there are psychological things like words you can put in to replace things that make it a little bit funnier, that have a harder like
I'm sure maybe, but I don't think you're ever gonna have a computer help you be funnier.
Oh no.
That concept offends me.
Well, there's a lot of people are doing that. They're taking these comedy courses and classes.
You know what? If you're going to go to a comedy class, if you're not funny to begin with, I don't think they can help you.
No, you don't think they can help you? They don't just teach comedians. They teach like people that are trying to get better with speaking and
That's
being
fine,
and
but
selling.
You can't take an unfunny person and make them a comedian.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay, there's a lot of people that think you can, and
I don't
you
think
see.
you can do that.
Yeah, I see. Who is it? You got the
If
Greg.
you don't have natural comedic talent to work with, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You'll never be funny.
Yeah,
That's
if you
what I
can't,
think.
if you can't be an entertainer, yeah, I agree. I agree.
I
If
don't
you don't
care
have
I
the
don't care how many classes you go to. I don't care how many books you read. If you've never made your friends laugh and no one's ever thought you were funny, like it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You're not funny.
timing, I don't think timing can be taught. I mean, I think
No,
you can.
It can't.
No, because that's
Some
something with reading
people want to think
crowds.
that they can figure this out and have a fucking watch that they hold that blinks every time they need to make a funny statement, but it's never gonna happen.
Yeah, I've tried to do that. I did that back when I first started. It was
Maybe
like
if
trying
it was
to count.
13 seconds earlier, those people's brains would have tuned in better than no. Like,
I tried to do the laugh per minute when I first started. It was like how many laughs per minute.
oh,
could
I hate
get?
that shit.
Yeah, no, it's
Sometimes I take a minute to set up a joke.
yeah, well, just yeah. That or I'll let a crowd like sit on it and just be like, if it fell flat, it fell flat. We're all just gonna lay here for a minute, you know. Like I'm hurting, y'all are gonna hurt. Just let this silence soak in for a minute, and I'll move on. But yeah, you know,
I think if
do you want to do a show? Actually, I got a show offer in the 17th of this September out in Centralia. I was gonna team
Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, because I got I'm putting together an Eventbrite and everything tonight. I got to put together. It's for Tim Loss. Me and him are teaming up and doing a show together out there. I'm gonna let him get on a show out here, and yeah, hopefully it works out pretty well. So, but
Alright, cool.
yeah, it's a pretty cool place. I've done it. Have you gone there before?
I think I've been to Centralia, but not to do comedy.
His little spot's nice, and he really does promote the hell out of his shows and really puts on a pretty good show. Like he's always done a pretty. I've never been there with no crowd.
Like I'm spoiled being 40 minutes away from practically everything.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how close you were. Is that inside of Centralia? Do you get to Centralia from that side of Illinois?
Well, I normally don't go as far as Centralia. Like I go doing what I do for a living. I go as far as like Granite City and Edwardsville and Belleville and Fairview Heights.
I would go. Yeah, I don't know.
Centralia is a little further.
It's like an hour, maybe an hour and 25, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think it was only about an hour. Yeah, yeah, and the food's really good at that place too. So,
Okay.
but yeah, it's late.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how long we've been going. That's what's up. I appreciate you coming
That's
in.
a podcast, baby.
That's right, motherfuckers.
About 3 hours.
And it's gonna take me 20 hours to edit and figure out how to set it up. Because I got
Thanks for
another
having me,
camera in
Brad.
it. Yeah, thanks for
I
coming,
appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you.